The son becomes the father the son. This is all I can send you, Kal-El. It's not who I am underneath that defines me, but what I do. You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Just because someone stumbles and loses their path doesn't mean they're lost forever. You're making me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. I let my father die because I trusted him. Because he was convinced that I had to wait. That the world was not ready. What do you think? With great power comes great responsibility. We are Groot. We are Groot. We are Groot. We are Groot. We're Groot. We're Groot. We're Groot. I'm with you till the end of the line. Tell me, do you believe? You will. Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off. And what are you? Genius. Billionaire. Playboy. Philanthropist. I am Batman. I could do this all day. Kill any god. None of you seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. If you're nothing without suit, then you shouldn't have it. It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me. And I am Iron Man.
Good morning. Let me know if you can hear me. I always do something wrong with my with my tech that I can't hear myself, or I nobody can hear me. And so hopefully somebody's out there going to go, yeah, I can hear you. Thank you for watching. We've got 2 people watching. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. There's nothing worse than speaking to air and trying your hardest to, be entertaining, be I don't just say what you feel without thinking like it's going nowhere and nothing's. But anyway, we don't do that we just do this because, I just do this because I like conversations. I like talking about my things that I like, like I mentioned today, we're going to be talking about Babylon 5, Sheridan and stuff. Last night I was able to catch the movie, the new one, which is this one here. Let me just play that so you guys can actually let me know if you can hear it. This is a trailer
News Network special report. 2 years after winning the Shadow
to
War,
the new Babylon
Captain
animated
John Sheridan,
movie.
President of the Interstellar Alliance, is leaving Babylon 5 for what many expect to be the last time.
I don't need an interstellar alliance. You're my universe, Dylan. I love you. A friend of mine once said, the future is all around us, waiting in moments of transition to be born in moments of revelation. This
Hey,
is
Angus,
just
can you
such
hear
a
me?
moment. Fire this baby up.
You want to join?
Something's wrong. What kind of energy does this facility use?
Tachyons.
Oh, crap. Where the hell am I?
Yes, I'm stuck in time, moving between timelines, universes, realities.
The longer you stay out of your own timeline, the more you'll start sliding into parallel worlds.
So how do I fix it?
You have to get back to Babylon 5.
Losing the Shadow War wasn't your fault.
Wait, we lost the war?
On the positive side, at least we have a good view of the show, eh, Sheridan?
This is Babylon 5. We are under attack.
Do you know what a last stand is? You just joined one. Activate destruct sequence.
Destruct sequence? Are you feeling all right? This isn't just one of those I'm having a bad day things.
I am totally in a mood to blow some stuff up.
Everything ends. I'm not afraid. Bring it.
John?
Stay back! It's happening again. I'm coming unstuck in time. Zathras won, but no one listens to Zathras.
You look like someone in need of a friend. Friend.
Right. I was watching it, right? And I had to pause when it got to where Delenn was talking. And I was like, it doesn't sound like Delenn. What's going on here? So I paused the movie, jumped on IMDb, and looked at, I went, hey, what's going on? Looked at the page, and, let me just grab this here, show you. So I'm there and I'm going, what's going on? How do they auto start these things? So I'm looking at the list of people with the voices and stuff, and I'm going, wait, who's Rebecca Reedy? And she's doing the voice, and I'm thinking, what happened to Delenn? What happened to Mira Furlong? Sorry about that. I just pressed the wrong button and clicked myself out. Apologies. Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, that was stupid. Like I said, it just doesn't go right sometimes. So I need to put that list there. Right. So who is Rebecca Reedy, right? So I'm like, because I am a huge Babylon 5 fan, and I'd forgotten that Delenn, aka Mira Furlong, had passed away 2 years ago. And so I, was a bit saddened watching the movie, and, right from the start, and just like, and that, I think for me, that kind of made me a bit step away from it going into it. But then I kind of, because her character is very important to the whole Babylon 5 show. For the, she appears from the start, and she's there for almost every episode of Babylon 5, even the Lost Tales. She's there, if I remember right. Lost Tales came out a few years ago, and she's like your Princess Leia if you're in Star Wars, right? But so much more here, because this is a woman who is a total alien, yet there is a transition that she goes through where she becomes human as well. She's Membari, and she comes from a race called Membari, right? Membari, planet called Membar. And so she, she's got all this, she comes from a secret order, and all the stuff you find out about her, and you fall for this character, and you become, I've watched it twice, to be honest, right? I watched the first time just, the five seasons, and then the movies or whatever I could get on, because this is when Blockbuster was still around. So this is about maybe 2001, maybe 2002 when I really got into it. And I didn't even know anything about it because, it had come and gone. It was like in 95, if I remember, it started. So it had come and gone. And for me, coming into it on video, right, VHS, and watching it on VHS, watching all this stuff, fresh, right? It was just like something just new. It was so much more grounded, and And then I would look into, a couple of years later when I was down south, going through hard times and stuff, I just really got into it. I started reading the books. The like I don't think I've ever read a Star Trek book, but I owned them. I owned the ship files and stuff like that. There's about 5 or 6 like big, huge, thick books. There's paperbacks, there's hardcovers of stories and stuff like that, original tales, and so on. And at one point, I was actually collecting the VHSs, and then also the toys, like the plastic ones that they had put out. And but over sometime somewhere, I don't know how, but I ended up selling them, and I regret that. And this is something that I've learned over the last like 10, 12 years, that if you come to question something, like if I decide, like, if I sell this, I'll get some money, but I'm like, oh, will I regret it later, right? Will I regret it later? And would it be like, would I regret it? And I got to question that now. It's like I have this real bad issue of like giving away things. It's my way of showing, everybody has a way of showing love and concern and care for people. I'm a gift giver, and you'll find that in yourself if you ask yourself, if you're honest with yourself, and if you do one of those courses, which I did, and you'll find out a bit about yourself, what makes you happy. What makes me happy is getting something like this because it's something I love, right? That I have a passion about, like Watchmen, right? So if I get this from someone, I'll go, wow, thank you. You know exactly everything you need, about me, and you know what I'm into. You know what my love in life is, what my passion is, what I deeply care for, right? And it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't. Like I've said to my parents, I said, even if it's $1 or from a thrift shop, it doesn't matter as long as it's something that I care for. It's part of my pop culture, and my parents look out for that, for stuff like that. And so, because my dad loves going and buying, books from thrift shops and stuff, because he's a book collector. He loves reading, and he's done that for years and decades since I've known him, and also records back in the day, right? And so when he comes across something that I like, he'll just go, I found this," and I go, "Thank you so much," right? So he found me this Assassin's Creed tin can, right? The cans. I love the cans. I love games that come in cans. Like I actually bought a game that I don't have a console for, which was I think it was Batman or something, Lego. It was for PS4. Oh no, it was for Xbox One. I myself don't have an Xbox One, but I love the can. So I went but I know that my nephew does, right? So I went, hey, you get to enjoy the game and I get to enjoy the can. So I keep the can, you get to play the game. So it's, I kind of that way. So I get to give him a game to play forever, right? As much as he wants, and I get to enjoy that. So back to, so I've come to realize that sometimes I regret giving away some gifts, and I later on I go, oh, I wish I hadn't given it away because now it would look great on my set, with all my other collections. So now I don't do that. And that's something that somebody put out this week. They were like, that on Facebook. And I was like, dude, really, really ask yourself, is that quick buck gonna make you question in a few months, few years down the track why you got rid of it? And it had to do like a 9.8 Deadpool first appearance, right? And it had to do with a signed Stan Lee signed thing. I don't know if he was just doing it just to show off, but he did say that he was trying to get to pay some lawyer fees that he needed to do. And I'm like, there's other things you could sell, right? Than to sell this piece because it's got Stan Lee's signature. Sure, you can sell all the other stuff, but not the Stan Lee signature, right? You want to hold on to that. Sure, you probably get more money for that than the others, but So I regret, not ever buying the $80 first appearance, cameo appearance of 1.1181 Incredible Hulk, because I couldn't afford it at the time, because I was laying on my back due to the fact that I had been in a car accident a couple of months earlier. And at that point, I was put out of work. It wasn't that I didn't want to work. I was made to go. You cannot work. Doctors set rules. You can't work. There's you'll make it worse for yourself. And spine damage, spine injury, neck injury, and so on. So I haven't worked for like full time, 7 days a week, for maybe about 13 years due to that accident. And the fact that prior to that, 6 months earlier, I'd been hit on the head, knocked out, and almost murdered. Right. So body isn't the best thing. And I've been working since I was 16. So there's been a lot of damage to my spine and wear and tear. And then comes the fact that I had I actually ended up couple of times having a slip disc because of lifting weight, lifting, big, heavy materials at work. And, and so that sort of wears on it. But then you get hit by a car, while you're sitting sideways like this, and the car hits you from the back, and you take the brunt of it. And it's like, yeah, great. So there is that. And so when you put in positions like that, you kind of like go, man, I wish I'd bought it. I wish I'd bought it. It was only $80, and it's a huge regret that I'm always going to live with, because it's $13,000 US or something now. And you go, well, it's 13 years ago, right? It was 2009, if I remember, 14 years ago. And I've always regretted that. There's other things I've regretted as well, like, giving away a helmet, a stormtrooper helmet with voice and everything, which now is worth about $200. At the time, I'd done a swapsies for the helmet with other stuff, right? But it was a birthday present, and sometimes you try to swap something else for it back, or same value or something, but it doesn't work, and you feel like an idiot, and you get told you're an idiot. So make it, if you're going to come, if you're going to sell off anything or have a chance to buy something, really, really think about it. Will you ever regret it? It's the same with any life choices you make, right? If you make a decision, you've got to really think, is this what I can live with? And so I've come to a point, and I've realized what I can live with and what I can't live with. And so getting back to Babylon 5, recently when they talked about this movie coming out, right, with and JMS was on JMS, J. Michael Straczynski, the creator of Babylon 5, right? He talked about it on Facebook. He's been like forever online, like really, really like talking. He's one of those guys who just loves talking to people, a bit like me, right? Talking to his fans and stuff. And I was just thinking, someday I'll be talking to my fans and stuff, right? About this huge universe that I'm building, part of Plunge Universe, which has to do with me bringing where I'm getting to with how Babylon 5 ties into what I'm creating. Someday that you guys out there in the universe, right, and the internet and all around the world will go, so how did you create this? What was the influence about that? And what was about that character? Why did you do that character that way? And so on, right? Which he does, right? I think I was on like USA Today or Comcast or something, and I had conversations about all the stuff. When I had conversations with people when it came to, like, there was a show they did, if I remember, called what was it? It's here somewhere. Was it Crusade? Yeah, it was Crusade, right? So they'd done Crusade, and let me pop that up there so you can see it. So they'd done Crusade 4 years or so on after, and this had to do with like some of the characters there. Excuse me. So yeah, so it's a couple of years later they did Crusade, and I didn't realize JMS had done it, and so I said, man, I wonder who wrote this? You know, it doesn't have the same feel. Like, who was writing this? And then I found out, like, yeah, it was one of the guys responded to me and said, "Oh, it's JMS. You can check it out. It's all this." And I'm like, oh, man, yeah, it needed some more. There was something missing in that, and I don't know what the situation was, whatever. But I learned, because when I finished this, I went down to South Island in Chicago to study for my digital filmmaking course, right? And so I was down there. It was a real hard time, and we're struggling, and trying to find work and stuff. And so all I was doing was watching all the Babylon stuff, and I bought some set of books, which was the best of I think it had to do with the Bester Alfred Bester series. It was like about how he came to be who he was. And if you know if you know Babylon 5, Alfred Bester is one of the key people. It's kind of and he's based around the writer Alfred Bester, if I remember right, who was a sci-fi writer, and it was played by, where are we? Oh gosh. Where's Bester? It was from Star Trek, and I actually met him. That's the thing. I actually saw him in person and asked him a question here in New Zealand, right? Let me just get to the people. Come on, move along. Right, where are we? Come on. I hate when I forget things like this. That's all part of the head injuries, right? It's like memory just doesn't work well. It gets worse over time, and as you get older. Just looking at here, this Harlan Ellison was also a psychop. So, gosh, maybe I'll just do a search. Hold on. Sorry for this, guys. Alfred. That's all. Right. Stars My Destiny. One of the great books. Character. Why don't we get character? Hold on. Keywords. Character. No. Here we go. Alphabet titles. 3. Right, let's go see. Erase Time. There we go. You guys would know this guy straight away. Right. Where is he? I just having a problem remembering his name. This is terrible. Walter Koenig. All right. Chekhov. There you go. Chekhov. Right. So Chekhov was here, if I remember, with his wife, and about must have been like 2019, 18. It was a really cool thing because I got to ask the question. We got to see him. This is the first time I actually met a Star Trek person. I actually have met an Stargate Atlantis person, Amanda Tapping, and got a photo of her right over there. But but I got to meet, and I actually admire her quite a lot. That's why I actually paid $40 to go actually have a photo with her. And I was like always nervous, really bad nervous, smiling hard out, unable to talk because, excuse me, I'm falling off my chair. But maybe I should get one of those really cool, computer chairs that everybody else has. So I was there with my sister's family. My niece and nephews were there, and it was such a cool thing. I got to stand. I put my hand up. I got the mic. I got to ask him, and I said, like, I asked him something about. I don't even remember the question. All I remember, he was a nice man, and he was not like George Takei at all, right? Who I really think is I'm not even say it, but Walter Koenig was up there, and I was able to ask him a Babylon 5 question, and it felt, like connecting to the universe that I love so much, because as I was saying, in 2002, we went down. What was it? 2003, 2003, like mid 2003. Went down to do my film course and was having a really hard time, real difficult time. And so I was just watching it, and I bought the book, like the tree book about whoever, I can't remember who wrote it, but I actually eventually ended up selling it because, of course, needed the money. I sold a lot of things, even a snowboard. I never got to go snowboarding. I won a snowboard. I bought 2 drinks, right? 2 cans of energy drinks, just to be able to win something, and I actually won it. When I came back home, got a phone call saying, "Yeah, you won." And 2 years later, I'm selling it because I need the money, and I only got $120 for it, if I remember right. Anyway, but so I ended up, like, I read the book. I was like, wow, I really got into the character, talked about how he came to be, all about the cycle, right? The cycle are one of the key parts of Babylon 5, which is like, these guys who can read your mind, and they are the they're like the psych police. It's kind of like that Philip K. Dick book, which was made into a movie starring Tom Cruise, if I remember right. Future crime, right? It's like people can read your mind and stuff, and so you can stop the crime from happening. And so these guys can read your mind, but they're also villains under these, and there's they got roles. There's villains, there's good guys. Lita is amazing. The character of Lita is freaking awesome in this, and she's all, and it's just such a great, like, it was so great to be able to meet him and talk to him, and that's Talia. Hold on. Andrea Thompson. Talia, if I remember right, she's also a psycho character, and there's so many great actors in this. And the other thing I just noticed here was that Bruce Boxleitner, they got as many people for this to do the voiceovers for the movie as possible. And I remember, like, reading what JMS was talking about, how when they did this, they asked all the actors in the show who are still alive, that would it be okay if they could do it. And he actually asked them if that, like, would it be okay if we went on with this when they passed away, and they all agreed, yeah, we should do it, we should honor them. And there's some really great moments in the animated movie, right, where it's kind of like paying homage and honoring the ones who have passed away. There's this really amazing moment in the end, and then there's also a moment, in the third act, and then there's all these little pieces of nugget, right, that you get in this that are like just fan service. And in a way, that's what's missing in a lot of pop culture these days, is that people are out, like studios and actors out here, they don't care about fans. They don't care about the actual property. And when this was coming out, I was kind of worried that, like, okay, it's going to be the modern, right, for modern audience. That terrible 2 words that makes as a fan, make you think, yep, this is just going to be another piece of trash that dishonors the memory and the work that's gone before, done by great people to make these shows live and be amazing for generations and for decades to come. That these shows will be honored and respected by future viewers because it's been done with so much love and care. I'm looking at myself, I'm looking at this, right? This is my Star Theory. I paid something like about $60, which was very cheap, right, for the model kit. This is like let me get rid of this here. you can see a bit better. So this is a Star Fury. This is Sheridan's, if I remember right, Star Fury. And this is hand painted by one of my best friend, who's just opened a store, by the way, here in Whangarei called Card Merchant Whangarei, which is part of a franchise. But my three friends, right, got together and bought a franchise store because they love cards and they love tabletop games and stuff. And that's the other thing I'm going to talk about today is tabletop games, right? Board games. So, and also I'm holding off to these things that I haven't opened up yet. There's 3 of them, and there is a whole bunch of other figures that I got this week. So hang around. That's coming, right? So it looks like I'm going to be on my own today. So hopefully you can put up with me for the next couple of next hour or so. So his dad, right? His dad had come to my store. This is like in 2015. I had a comic book store. I started in October 27th of October, right? Or 28th of October 2014. December 2015, I closed it. I've talked about that before. But his dad came in, and he was looking at the store because Eats was there playing games, as he does, Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, and hanging out. And it's amazing to see where he has come, and what the 3 guys who first came. I think Phil came in later. Oh no, Phil joined in very quickly, but like Eats was the first one to say, "Hey, can we play cards here? Trading cards." Because I had a store. I had it was very small. It's almost just a bit bigger than my apartment, right? My studio apartment, just the main room. And I think it was like maybe 8 meters by 8 meters, something like that. And like 2 meters by 6 meters was 6 meters was just this room. It was like a fish tank. Like there was a glass halfway up. It was glass. So there's down here was like the wall and a door going in. And I put a table in there. Actually, I think I put in 2 tables, if I remember right. So you could have like 6 people, 12 people playing, and then they were all huddled in there each time. And then when they wanted to play D&D, or when they wanted to play Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon or whatever, and then on a Wednesday or Thursday night, we had a gaming night. And I'd be open till about late, until they finished, about 9 o'clock or so. And I'd move everything back and put a table out in the store area as well, because we had so many people who wanted to play. And from that, to see them come and open their own store, I'm gonna bring that up because then you guys will be able to see, what I'm talking about, and the photos they put up and stuff. And because to see that, and I'll also I want to show you guys the store itself when I had it, and which is there's this page now I call Plunge Cast. So if you wanted, you could actually go to the photos, and boy, the other day I went and had a look at before they opened this, they were opening the store, and before they went to open the store, I had invited Ethan to come over and just have a chat, because we were going to do this convention, which is supposed to happen next month, right, on the 16th character, which isn't going ahead now. So I said to him, "Come over, let's have a chat." We haven't had a chat for a while, and let's find, let's talk about what how you guys are going and stuff. And and he said, okay. So he came with his daughter, Alea, I'll forget. Never mind, doesn't matter. And she was just, as soon as she walked in, she said, Pokemon, she said Pikachu. There's 2 Pikachus on my bed, right? There's plushies, and there's also Thor. There's also a bunch of plushies. And so I I was like, okay, so you have this one. There was two of them, so I said, you can have this one. You can rough around with it and all this. You can throw it around, and you can take that home. So it's a big, big plushie. It's a bit wear and tear. It's pretty loved, of course. And so yeah. And then she was looking at all the toys. She goes, "Oh, why do you have all these Barbie dolls and stuff?" And I went, "Well, it's because I want to actually bring up my own, Barbie doll type doll with real hair for Incredible, right? So I can actually, you know, we can actually sometime in the future put that out as part of our comic book." And so this is the interior, the back area, and this is like about 4 or 5 times the size of my store, right? But I'll show you this other picture here, and I'm so proud of these guys, right? And this is all the area. This is where you can see the on the left here. Sorry, on the right here, on the left, that's a merchandise, end of the merchandise. So that's the end of the store. So that's how big going forward is my store. Let me just see them. All these guys playing. All right, stuff they're selling. Let me see if there's a photo here that has. Hold on, let's get out of there. Is there? All right, so this is Min. All right, and this is here Sean. Right, these are original guys from my store. And so Sean came in and asked about the D&D. Can we do D&D here? Right. This is 2014, 2015. Right. So if you really think about it, these guys have, done, have kept at this for so many years, dedicated to their passion. And now all this time later, it's paid off. This is outside the store here. The unveiling, I missed unveiling by about 10, 15 minutes, maybe half an hour, right? And so, it's just to see that these are the original guys that started all that, right? And yeah, they were part of the game. So this is someone snapped a photo of myself here, turning up half an hour late, and there's Ethan here, and their passion, like you can see the tattoo here. Their group's called Shadow Realm, the gaming group and all that. They've been running there for so long, and that's Ethan here. I'm not sure who that is. I don't want to mention it, but this is Ethan, right? And and that's his brother here, Luke. These guys are all the original original gangsters, you could say, from my store, right? And the passion, that these guys have carried, and the other thing is, Ethan never played Magic, right? And stuff, but there's people, part of his team that played, play Magic, but he was a huge Yu-Gi-Oh fan. And then he started bringing in, I don't remember if this is Fractured. This is part of, let me see. I'm trying to remember here. So there's Magic, there is Yu-Gi-Oh, and there's also One Piece, right? Has just come out. I should have went and bought a deck, because I like to buy the newest decks of anime and stuff like that, so I can hold on to that forever. Right. So this is Phil, one of the other owners, right? There's Luke, of course, and so that we showed you Moon, we showed you Eats. This is Phil, the third member there, right? And these are all people from the store. And there's Lynette here, who cosplayed and it supported me greatly as Incredible. She did cosplay for us for Incredible. So, this is passion, right? Your passion, you sticking to your passion can become a business, can become a career. And that's what I want to show you that. So for me, my passion for comics has now got me creating comics, creating characters, creating, figures for it, and and getting people from all around the world involved with what I'm doing, as well as local. And and then when you have someone come across out there and basically say, well, don't care. I don't care how much you love this property. I don't care how much you love this stuff. We're just going to crap all over it. I'm going to put my own thing into it. Even though I never created it, I wasn't even around when they created it. I wasn't even a thought, didn't even exist. My parents didn't even exist. But you know what? I'm going to take this and I'm going to put my own thing into it. And that sort of like, that makes me so angry, right? And it makes me feel, annoyed. And I want to just like, hold on, let me just go back to this. All right. So here's something that's going on that's a big controversy right now. And it has to do with this, right? It has to do with Snow White. And everybody's jumping on it. And on in 2 days, right? About this time, in 2 days. It'll be Sunday for me, but it'll be Saturday for you guys because it's Thursday for you guys in the US. It's Friday here in New Zealand, and it's 12 o'clock. So around, I think if I remember right, it's around about 10 or 11 New Zealand time, which is about 5 or 6, 7 US. I'm going to have Paulie the Latino Slant on, and he's been talking about this as well, and he's had some very, bad things in Discord being said about her and about the movie, right? Now, the controversy isn't, for me personally, isn't about her acting in it. The controversy is about what she says about her role in it. As you all know, and I watched an hour of this last night, like the other day, of Snow White, the original animated series from 1937. Now, if you know the history, and I've watched a whole lot of podcasts and stuff and all that stuff from lots of great and more important people. As I've said, my memory is really bad because of the 6 or 7 or 8 head injuries I've had and concussions I've had over the years. It started when I was a little kid, about 6, was the first fall. It actually cracked my skull and skin, and I remember my mum and my aunt holding me while my mum stitched it with a needle, like an actual sewing needle. And I can remember the color of the thread. It was black. Right, 6 years old. My mum, no anesthesia, dude. This is Fiji. 6 years old, right? My mum taking a needle and threading that, my skin together because I tripped and cracked it. I don't know which area, if it was here or here, on a rock about this big or something. That's all I can remember. While I was running, past mango trees to my grandma's house, or great grandmother on my granddad's side, and my grand uncle, I guess. And yeah, and I tripped and fell. Right, I was so excited, and I was a very lively kid, as all kids are. But I think over the time, after I think about 11 or 12, I became very, aggressively excited. So now I forgot what I was going to say. So anyway, so watching the movie, like the animated series, it's like so freaking amazing. Like one of the first, I think there was another one they said it was in Japan somewhere or some other country that actually done it, but this was the first American or worldwide recognized successful animated movie. And there is so much gold and so much passion. Like I was watching each little creature, there was like so much, because the story, of course, is about step, and I don't like the word step because I have a stepfather, but I hardly ever use him as say stepdad or stepfather. I say dad, and this is because of like because of all these shows. I mean, stories that have like step parents being bad and stuff like that, and so and doing bad things or whatever. And I sort of have always sort of went, no, I don't like using that word with my dad because my dad is great. Not always have I thought that, right? Kids, when you're growing up, you don't. Even in adult, I didn't think that. But when you come to recognize that you have parents that, if you have good parents, right, that care for you, it's not them that needs to change, it's you, because as you grow older, you realize that they meant well and you took it the wrong way because you just were so rebellious or just you were against anything. And it's because, things happen and you sort of like adults, I always bulk against, authority and people who try to force things. I'm always going to speak against that. It's just in my nature to go, nah, I'm not putting up with that, and it doesn't matter. I've walked into fights between people and just grabbed the one who's been hurt and just hug, grab them and said, you stay with me. And I'm watching everybody else just trying to cheer some guy to beat this guy up. I'm the guy like that, right? Not worried about myself. And so when I watch somebody just crap all over, that's the nicest way I can put that, on something as great as Snow White, that sort of for us as kids growing up was so magical. It's like when they crept over Peter Pan, I was like, I remember being at my friend's house, and his younger brother, my friend's younger brother, was being put to bed by his mum, and she would read Peter Pan to him, right? So I remember what it felt like to be able to be with a white family, because in my family we didn't kind of have that. I know we did that when because I was too old by that time, right? I was about 12, 10 by the time my little sister came along. I think it was like 10 or 8. And so I'd gone past that reading to sleep to bed, right? But I watched my dad and my mum, especially my dad, read to my sister and my brother, and as they went to sleep, stories. But I remember what with Peter Pan, and I did never in my mind said, well, it wouldn't be awesome if Peter Pan was black or Indian or Chinese. Never in my mind did I think Wendy would be great if she was some other race. Never. Because all I knew was I was looking at a book, imagining this great place, imagining this, the Lost Boys and all these things, and this Neverland and all that, and then his mum just reading to him and him being excited and going to sleep. And that's like about 82, maybe 81, 1980. I remember all these little memories because it's part of things I love. But there's memories I just don't have of things that happen, right? And so that's sort of my tie-in to pop culture in that way, or stories. And stories endear us to each other because you go, hey, did you watch Star Trek last night? What did you think of it? What did you think of that character? Or so on. Oh, did you watch the Game of Thrones last night? Man, that was really cool, wasn't it? And so you're kind of like conversing on a universal level where you're connecting to people through stories, through entertainment, through media, through books, in a way that becomes so much more than just something there. And so over time, that connection to that character, that book, that film, that TV show, I can remember watching Alien, right, at Catholic boarding school, where I thought I'd never get to watch TV, and yet there I was, probably about 10 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock, watching Sunday Horrors or something, and there's us older students there, with our blankets, in the entertainment room, watching Aliens and really enjoying it. That was my first proper time. There was, I think, the second time I actually watched a horror movie. Idle Hands was the first time, and I watched that with my mom, cuddling up to her, on the settee, watching like this, whenever romance scenes came up, right? Knowing I was watching, but I was like making sure that she thought I was closing my eyes to it. And so you connect with this, and I connect with Ripley. So I never thought Ripley should be Indian when watching it. And this is what I have a problem with. I got to see myself in this movie. I have to see myself. Make your own then. That's my response. Make your own, create your own. I was like, I would love to, write a Marvel character, but you know what? I don't want to write a Marvel character. I want to create my own. I have the intelligence and as a human being, because human beings are the only creative species in the world. Every other species is just making things to survive, right? The badger builds a dam, right? Is it the badger, right? To stop water from crushing their home, whatever, or there's some amazing things if you will look at nature, man. Like I love looking at nature. I have like for the last 5 years, I've always had garden. Like when I've lived on my own, when I even before I got married and stuff, and I'm divorced now, right? But for the last 5 years, I've had a balcony garden. I built it myself, you know, using timber pulled out from the next apartment, right? The landlord was basically pulling it out. I said, "Hell, take that timber. I'll take that timber." And I went, cut it up, built my own little, I think it was about 3 meter long, 2.5, 3 meter long, foot wide. Yep, foot wide, foot down, square, whatever length, uh, garden, whatever they call it. Anyway, planter. Yeah. And I planted all these seeds and stuff in it, and I watched all them grow. And I used to be a cigarette smoker, right? So I'd sit there, drink my coffee in the morning and just watch the plants, watch the butterflies come and land on it, on the silkweed, right? So watching the monarchs come, lay eggs, and watch the eggs form into caterpillars, form into cocoons, and then fly out. Some of them, I had to actually bring the caterpillars inside and put them in a little container, right? Put them in a little container like this, because the leaves where they were was too far away from where they were. And so I put them in a little container, take the lid off or whatever, and put them on a little tissue in here, put the silkweed leaves in here, and put the little, cocoons on there. I mean, butterflies on there, and then watch them go into cocoon. And then just take, after they're in that cocoon, take that outside in the garden and watch them fly away. When you watch things like that, there's a connection to seeing how the natural order of things in the world work, right? They come, the butterfly comes in, lays her egg, becomes, it becomes a butterfly, cocoon, or whatever, a little egg goes, as I said, it goes all there. And so you connect and you see how the natural order of things work. And it's so awesome. I implore you guys to watch, have a garden, watch, plant a flower or whatever, to just watch it, water it every day and watch how they grow and how you look after it. If you water it too much, it bogs down. I had to clean that up because rats gone into it and stuff, and the wood got rotten after 5 years because it's interior wood. It's not meant for you outside. And so I'm going to get some plastic bins and I'm going to carry on, right? And the great thing about that is that I started planting cherry tomatoes, and I was able to give seedlings away, lots of seedlings away, and tomatoes to people over the last 5 years. And the store-bought plants didn't grow, my mum said. The ones I gave from my garden, because I didn't put any chemicals or anything on them, they grew. Her own, like the ones she paid a couple bucks for, didn't grow, but the ones she got from me grew. And I was able to give away to so many people seedlings because, I saw my plants, whenever there was like a split in a ripe fruit, I'll just squash it and back into the seed, into the soil, and it'll grow. So what has that got to do with pop culture, right? When you watch all that happen, you kind of like endear yourself to that, and you kind of like go, wow, this is how things come to be, and you think about, like, as a creative person, you go, why do I need to see myself in that? What is it in you that needs to go, see me? I need to be seen. And, I don't need to be seen as Deadpool, right? Even though I love Deadpool, I don't want to see my face in Deadpool. But what was amazing about Deadpool, which nobody really had an issue, was that in New York, there are Indian taxi drivers. So what do? They created a character that was endearing, funny, and you could connect with, who was a taxi driver. I have an uncle who's a taxi driver, you know. And for me, I didn't say, oh, I saw myself in him. I saw myself in my uncle in the taxi. No, the character was great. It was funny. It really bounced off, Ryan. Is that right? I hope I said it right. But anyway, and I've watched a lot of his movies prior to him becoming Deadpool, right? And even after. And so I didn't need to see myself as Deadpool. I don't need to see myself as Wolverine. These characters work on their own. I don't need Wolverine to be Asian, right? I don't need him to be black. I don't need him to be Indian, South, North, East, West, whatever Indian, right? I don't need him to be anything apart from what he is, right? I just need him to be Logan, right? 200 years old, right? Growing up in a farm, right? All that stuff, on a plantation or whatever it was. If I can't remember the origin story properly. But I don't need to see myself in anything out there. If I do, I will create. And this is the emptiness that I see in all pop culture media right now in the last 10 years that has come out, that the desire to see yourself in a character that's already established. It's disgusting. It seems impure. It seems unnatural to go, I will change this character that we have loved, that fans have loved all over the world, to something else so that I can feel represented in it. And that's why I get upset and angry about this when I see this happen to things I love, right? I don't want to see somebody who doesn't belong in that character to play that character, right? Just for the sake of representation, right? I don't want to see race swap characters. I despise them. I think they're horrible. Doing that is horrible. You're not endearing anybody to it. You're not serving the fans, the customers who pay money to go buy toys at whole years later or even at the same time for a lot of money, right? To be able to see that, to be able to say, hey, let me just get rid of that. We'll get back to that. To see that happen, right? I don't need to see Jakarta. I mean, I can't remember. Is it Lando? It's Lando, right? I don't need to see Lando as an Asian. I don't need to see a new movie or a new freaking remake with him as an Asian or a black person. I love Sheridan as Bruce Brocknight. I like him as a white dude. He works as a white dude. That's what he's created for, right? I don't need to see this person being anything apart from a Danish character, if I remember right, or European character, right? A European person with very fair skin, right? If I want to see her as that, I will go and write a new story and I'll bring it and I'll say, this is this character, right? This is Princess so-and-so, a brand new character. And we'll tell a story about her, a new story that will endear the fans to her. And then I will go and buy that toy and I will talk about how great that movie was because it served the fans and it was creation. As I talked last week about this TV show that came out with it was like from out of Africa, right? All these animated shorts that's on Disney Plus, right? Even though I hate Disney at the moment, I love that show. And my thought was like last week, if you watched, is that, hey, why don't they make feature-length stories based on those 10 or 12 shorts they had? I want to know more about those characters. I want to know more about that universe, but they won't do it. They'd rather race swap because, hey, it's a name recognition. We want to torture the fans. We want to say, we got you. See, we can take your beloved things and we can twist them and make you feel twisted and hurt inside and show you how we can do this to you. And you will just have to accept it. And fans go, nah, We don't have to accept anything from you. We're the ones with the money. You're the one who is making the product. We don't have to put our money on the counter. We can take our money elsewhere. And many have, like me, right? We took our money elsewhere. In a couple of months, Disney would have lost $2 billion, right? And that hopefully will teach them more lessons. They've started learning as they sell off, but they still continue. I want to see this movie wiped off the face of the earth, this adaptation, totally just gone. I want it gone. I wanted to remove Wendy, whatever. I wanted them to remove the Mermaid movie, whatever. I just want them gone, right? To make them realize that nobody wants that. The only people that want that are the minority of the minority of the minority, but they're very vocal. It's the Peter Dinklages of the little persons, of the little people in the world. It's only Peter Dinklage. It's one person who's ruined everything for those actors who play the dwarves. 7 amazing characters who could have been played by little people, could have made them world famous. Imagine that. You know why Peter Dinklage did that? Because he wants to be #1 little person in the world, right? If he's not in it, because if you really think about why people do things, if you really think, why did Peter Dinklage not say that? I mean, why did he say that about, oh, this is wrong to have 7 little people in the dwarf suit? Dude, that's existed in cinema for 100 years. Who are you as a person to stop 7 little persons from having a role in Snow White and the 7 dwarfs? Right? The arrogance of this person, just like the arrogance of this Rachel Zegler person, right? That arrogance, the sheer hubris, as a Star Trek thing said, right? And we're using that against Star Trek right now, right? As a word says, sheer hubris that you could say, do this with Picard. At least season 3 is freaking amazing, right? And finally, they've got something right after so many years, right? I think this whole idea of politicizing characters has gone so far that you can only stop. It's like you have to stop, right? You just can't go any further now. See what they did. See what happened with Indiana Jones. Did you learn a lesson, Disney? Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy. Did you learn the lesson? A beloved character was destroyed, and the customers said, and the fans said, F you. No more. Nuh-uh. Thank you. Like Carmen said, what was not Carmen, sorry. Yeah, it is Carmen, isn't it? Maybe I'm getting it right. It goes, screw you guys, I'm going home. And that's what we said. That's what we did to you. We basically, as fans, right? I'm an Indiana Jones fan. Right? That's the first movie I remember seeing, if I remember right, Temple of Doom. Maybe, I'm not sure. But my dad and Mom, we watched that, right? We're excited. We saw it. We saw an Indian character in a Bollywood movie, huge Bollywood actor, in a Hollywood thing. See, Indiana Jones wasn't made in India. A character was there, right? And it blew him up, right? It just became, everybody got to see a Bollywood actor in Hollywood. And we've seen so many more now, right? You didn't have to race swap Indiana Jones to make that happen, did you? Right? That's why people loved it. And so when you take all our beloved characters like Luke, like Han Solo, Indiana Jones, because you hate men now, it's a thing to hate men now. right? Got to kill the patriarchy, got to destroy the heroes that men love. But did you ever ask that there was women who actually love those heroes? Did you actually think that there was actually females who love them? Because I know my mum never said Indiana Jones he should be a woman. No, I never had my mum say that at all, right? And here's what's wrong with all this, is that they think they can get away with it if they continue down this run, and they're learning the hard way, financial way, because money talks. They can say, yeah, we can put all this. Money talks. At the end of the day, money talks. Nothing matters more to a person than not having money. Because with money, and they can hate capitalism all they want. Oh, capitalism bad, Batman's a fascist, he should sell all his goods and give it to the people. How soon will that run out? How soon will those people mismanage all that? I've seen mismanagement. I've done it myself in the past, right? Where I've thought, I'll put all this money into this business, it'll go thing, and didn't think about a year down the road, and didn't see this, went and paid for a website, and I added to it. Next thing is website goes from 2,000 to 4,000, right? Just, yeah. And we've seen this happen with Disney, right? I would like to see what the actual budgets for these movies are. Talking about budget, when did Hollywood decide that we needed $200 million movies? When did they decide that they need $300 million movies? Right? When I was at film school, I was taught work within the budget. Try to keep it in the budget. Each line, right, of expenses, there is what you have. Go towards that. And if whatever you're doing is costing too much, find another way to do it without that. So you beg, borrow, steal, right? Not steal, but borrow until you can stay within that budget, right? And I learned that when I was making my digital film, right? Full-length film, about 15 minutes. This which is quite interesting because I think hour 25 minutes. Yeah. Oh, talking about which this new movie, right? From Babylon 5, The Road Home, right? It's hour 18 minutes long, right? And I was like, oh, it's not a full hour and a half. But that's because the story didn't demand it to be longer. And I was like, that's why I was further 18 minutes. But it's a very tight story. It's really well done. And the more I think about it, the more I love it. Because at first I was like, I saw the trailer, I thought, oh, another time travel story. It's good. But there's some elements on it that's just magic. It's real fan service, right? So that is what's missing from all this crap that's come out of Disney, right? And something that you could feel safe about sitting down, with your niece or nephew and watching a Disney movie, the latest thing. You don't feel that way anymore. I don't feel that way anymore. It's like, what are they going to put in the next? What creepy stuff is going to be in there that's going to try to, get into the head of my, young niece or nephew and have them questioning who they are as a human being. Kids, you don't want kids to do that, right? You want to make them questioning and thinking when they're about 15, 18, right? We know that their brains don't get formed until about 2022, right? Because I've done these researches, right? Because I used to be a youth worker, right? So, I know when, I had to look into and research about looking after youth and stuff like that, I actually had to look after a child with ADHD, like very, very, very bad ADHD, a little baby, right? 2-3 years old. And I guess it was 4, maybe he was running around, and I had to learn how to look after an autistic child, a baby, of all things, right? And I had to read about that and how to do that. So with all that experience, you learn so much from how children are. And he'd have a one show, I don't remember exactly what it was, and he'd always put it on, that one episode. He'd go up to TV, click, on video, click, and we'd just watch it. Then we'll go outside. He'll be sitting there 1 minute, next thing running around, like so much energy. And I'd be like, had to be on him all the time, And so imagine suddenly he's watching a creepy little, Disney show, and that's the only thing he watches. And that goes in his head over and over because he's autistic, right? So he's repeating that thing over and over. And that is going to creep the hell out of him, and he's going to change him. Even though he's already got autism, what else is going to get from watching this movie now? And this is what I feel what is wrong about modern Disney. So getting to Babylon 5, right? Actually, no, I'll leave that one alone for now, because I want to talk to Paulie about that, Latino slant. And 2 days, Paulie of the let me grab his thing here, his YouTube channel, so you guys can check out his YouTube channel. Paulie the Latino. You can check him out later, and he, he's a pop culture commentator, right? Where are we? Here we go. He's a pop culture commentator, and he brings all that through the Latino, glasses, lenses, what are you going to call it, right? Whereas I just bring it out because I just love, I come out of from performer on stage, an actor, a writer for stage, an artist, a sculptor, right? All these different things, like comic book writer, all these different things, right? Even a chef. I trained 2 years as a chef, right? So I've worked in restaurants, I've worked in bars, all this stuff. I worked as a salesperson. So I have all these weird experiences over maybe 30 years of my life, from running my own business to working for other people, working with franchises, all these experiences over that time. 30 years of, I started working when I was like about 16. And, going into 17. And that's, working for myself, right? Earning wages for myself, renting and paying for board, and all that stuff. Cooking for myself, and all. I love I love having come from a home where my mum taught us as kids straight away to cook, right? Everybody in our family cooks, right? From my little brother to my sister to me to my cousin, to all my cousins, to everybody in our family knows how to cook, right? All the extended family. It's something that, because we saw our granddad do that, right? Our granddad was a chef in our family, or cook in our family, cooking huge pots of meals for big events like weddings, temple events, and all that stuff, right? And so I have all this weird, learned experiences, as well as like lived experiences, as well as like experience from others imposing upon myself, as well as others I've had mentor me, both religious and non-religious, right? And so I look at the world in a very different light, and I don't put myself out as an Indian first. I just put out myself as me, right? I don't need people to see me as this. I just need people to see me as whatever I'm talking about, and as me as a character, as my merits and what I've done, my experiences. Because I remember when I was doing film school, and I think it was around about 2005, second year, and my Seattle-based tutor, American tutor, who was doing my film course, and he was our main tutor. He said, like, oh, he played a documentary from a guy called Angry Filmmaker, right? The guy who was and he said, you got to use what you have, right? You got to put yourself out there. And Indian filmmaker, IFM, right? And it took me about 2 years to realize that's not who I am. That's not who I want to be recognized as. I don't want to be recognized as Indian filmmaker. I want to be recognized as a filmmaker. I don't want to be recognized as the Indian comic creator. I want to be recognized as the comic creator, right? And so I don't, I look at everything like just on a level, and I question everything on a level, and I oppose things on a level, right? Sometimes I get it wrong, and I'll, if I get it wrong, honestly, I will apologize. If I don't think I got it wrong, maybe it'll take me time to, work it out that I got it wrong, and I will apologize. And my friends know that, right? That I will apologize if I'm in the wrong, because it just sometimes takes my brain a little thinking process, because I'm always thinking, okay, yeah, I think, no, you were wrong. Sorry, I was wrong. Wasn't thinking straight. And I have great friends, so they know me by now how I act, and I'm very direct, right? So if I think about something, I'm going to be telling you directly. I'm not going to run around and go, yeah, get it. I'll go, hey, look, this is what I think. So one of the things about Babylon 5 is when I was reading the Alfred Brester series, it really made me think about world building, about backstories, about how characters, their home life, their connection to their environment, which I hadn't really thought about before, because before that I've been a Star Trek from 8-year-old. The moment I saw my first episode must have been about 1981, maybe. It was on replay here on TV1, I think, or TV2, maybe. Can't really remember that well, but I do know that it really made me connect to I think that's probably what made me really become creative, and to really think about how things are dealing, stuff like Fantasy Island, the plane. Imagine that. Who does not like a tattoo? Imagine Peter Dinklage saying, "You can't have a little person there." Where would tattoo be, right? Where would our love for tattoo be? Right? Montalban, I can't remember, Ricardo Montalban, and his character, right? We would not. Why? What if we just had him as a white person? What if we swiped him as a white person now? Right? See what I mean? How bad it is to do that, because you lose what the creative person who came up with it would thought about having as that actor in there. Why? And so the right person for the right job sometimes doesn't work if it's not loyal to the story. So I thought, what if I started doing something like this? What if I wrote a sci-fi? Finally, after all these years of watching and taking it all in, what if I came up with my own story? And a TV series as that. And so I wrote an hour and a half pilot, like total, scripted, TV style, all hour and a half. Put that aside. Now, 10 episodes, that's 45 pages per each episode for my series, right? I'm going to tell you what it's called because I've brought it into my Plunge Universe. So I might do a standalone title, 90 page, or was it? Yeah, 90 page, because it's 90 pages. So it'll probably end up being about a 6 issue, 4, 5, 6 issue, or maybe just do a single trade paperback. and then have the have the ongoing series. So I can write for the next 5 years, right? With of that just being on there. So I'm waiting for a creative team to come on board to just work on that. So I did 10 episodes, right? 45 pages. That's two comic books per episode. That's 20 comic books, right? It's almost 2 years worth of work. If you're in the mainstream, right? They work really, the way they work, whatever, and how many people work on it and so on, right? So for us, it'll be like 5 years to get that book out, maybe even more. But then also there's another TV movie, right? So what I was doing was I was going like a movie, 10 episodes, a movie, because each season would have 10 episodes, then movie, then another 10 episodes, another movie. So when I say Babylon 5 has had a huge influence on me, it's really the Alfred Bester story that's had an influence on me. And I regret having sold that. But someday I'll be able to get it. And of course, there's PDFs and so on. But, I'd like to have the whole series so I can read it. But I'm terrible at reading now. Because of my writing and stuff, I even have a hard time reading my own friends' books, right? My friend has recently written a book. If it's here, no, give me 1 second. Hopefully I can get it. Where are you? Oh, please. Somewhere. Nope. But I'll take you. Actually, you know what? Let me play a trailer. Let me play a trailer for you guys while I do this, so you don't feel like I am. I'm just you're just watching me.
Weston. This world is a kingdom of pain and suffering. There is no greater purpose. And we take what we want, when we want. And how do we pay?
In blood.
Shaw says we're moving out. We ain't going. We should take our cut and don't look back.
You can't. No boy of mine takes from me and doesn't pay.
I mean, he'll kill you. Hell, he'll kill a lot of us.
How do we pay? In blood!
Do I know you?
Sister Hildegard.
Where are you taking me?
I'm headed north to join my sisters. I have recently found myself in need of a new guide.
I don't plan on picking up a new profession of nun guiding. One of my men is missing. You haven't seen anybody wandering around these parts, have you?
I don't see how any injured man would last very long out here.
Whoa! Stop it! Hey, put that down!
Make me.
Weston! This is not what I wanted. Look at what you made me do.
The Lord frowns on those.
There is no Lord in these Badlands. But me.
Thank you. I just saw the thing. You're muted. What do you guys think of that? That's Justified. It's a brand new movie. It's I think it's already available on streaming or digital download with whatever service. I haven't watched it yet, so I have no idea. But I love just the story. I just thought it was pretty cool, right? Just the trailer looked really cool. It looked like it was like it looked like they put a bit of effort into the story. And the great thing is, like, all these westerns are coming out. Like, I used to watch Saturday Matinee, Saturday matinees. That's it, Saturday matinees, right? In the afternoon, and you'd have all these really cool, like, Butch and the Sundance Kid, all these Western spaghetti westerns and stuff would be on. And I mean, I grew up watching with my dad, like the Cliff. Gosh, I'm gonna remember. Hang 'em High, all that, uh, with my dad, right? And stuff, and growing up. So I love all those stuff. I love westerns and stuff. Maybe I'll write one. I haven't even thought about writing one yet. But most, it's it's like a movie that's like this. Why I like Justified? It's just like it's like a guy. The story's really cool, right? It tells you what's going on, and it's not trying to push anything. It feels like it's just, guy's got to do what's got to do. The nuns they're doing, it's like you try, you'd want to see that, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, don't, because I will, and just the situation. And I think it looks like a really fun movie, and it's in my on our YouTube channel. It's in the trailers we like, right? That I put in there, and the other thing. Oh, I finally found it. So this is a short story collection of horror stories by my friend Michael Batur, right? Kiwi writer. You can get this on Goodreads, right? Right now he's I think he's optioning a feature film. Not sure. I'm not. I don't know much about it. I've got to get him on here and talk about it sometime. But this is called "The Devil Took Her." Several short stories, tales of horror. Right. It's so even. This is how, like, we're talking about, like, reading. Like, I love horror and stuff like that, and I love books. I buy books all the time. Right. This is holding it backwards. Yeah. I buy books all the time. Right. But I haven't read them. And it's just, I've gotten to a point where I find it really hard to read. I got told off yesterday on Facebook because I asked a question that was already answered in the friggin' top because I hadn't read the rest of the thing. So I'm having this, like, blind spots with reading. So I find it really hard to read stuff now because my brain tells me you should be creating, you should be writing a story, you should be script writing, you should be continuing with your project. So I try not to get to a place where I'm, like, in that situation again. I just write and write and write. So if you see this book out, if you hear about this book, try it. If you're into horror, give it a go. He's a really good writer. But there's another series if you do sci-fi. It's called Moneyland, right? So let me see if I can pop up and find Moneyland. And this Goodreads, right? If I can do this on the fly without some weird Google asking me to type in 5 different things. All right. Continue with that. Amazon. All right. Come on. Allow. Come on. What are we seeing here? Well, we're not seeing that good. This is stupid. Why can't I just go see it? Search. Oh, here it is. Okay. Michael Boter. Right. Go away. Okay, let's go see Michael's thing. Present. Share screen. Right. So let's zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So this is the one I'm talking about here. So if you're into sci-fi and like, yeah, Nugget, I do. I'm actually listening to, and that's also on my channel on Watch Later, Star Trek Federations. So I'm finding that I've just started that, and that's only because I'll tell you why right here. Because I was listening to this gentleman who I'll be interviewing in 2 weeks, which I hear that he's very well known, right? And more than I thought, like, I wasn't, Robert Meyer Burnett. Make sure you guys, right? Make sure you guys go in our live section, upcoming, and just a segue here, guys. Excuse me. Whoops. Make sure to click on this. I actually had one of my mates message me on Facebook and go, "How did you get Michael, Robert Meyer Burnett?" I said, "He's such a." I'm like, I asked him, and he replied. And then my friend goes and says all this stuff, right? And my friend's a publisher, right? He's a comic book publisher, like, right? And they've got a Kickstarter coming up, and I've been trying to get him on here forever. I've actually had one of my silly little, two panels, two something debating, two speech bubbles debating, something like, I don't know. I'll show it to you guys later. And I just asked, man, and that's all I do, right? All you can do, and this is what I've been taught, right, by mentors, that ask. You don't. They might say yes, or they might say no. That's all. So I've sent out a bunch of emails. I jump on like on their on people's channels, and I go, "Hey, would you like to come on? I would love to talk to you about your journey, about your about your passion, about your projects coming up, right? Because I love conversing with people. I don't talk politics to them. I don't want to know who they want to vote for. I don't. It's got nothing to do with it. I want to know about their journey. I want to know what makes them tick. I want to know what people, basically think, right? What their ideas about story, about pop culture, about their favorite fandom, right? Favorite show, favorite toy they have, why they have it. I want to know all that, because then I can connect with them on that level, right? If you talk about Star Trek, like which is why I wanted to get, like, I didn't even know he had done so much stuff, dude. Really, seriously, I did not know he made Trekkies, right? I did not know he produced that, or Trekkies 2. If you look at his, like, you can look at his IMDb on that, like, on this, right? If you go to, this keeps flipping to this, right? If you go to this, and this is the second Plunge Pop. Plunge Pop started, I thought of doing Plunge Pop because I was going to interview Latino Slant, Paulie, and I thought, what if I do a whole series just for pop culture commentators on YouTube, and just have those guys come on, right? Just, and then give a series just to that. So when you go, well, who's the guys that, the commentators are popular, Oh, if you go to Plunge Pop Series, you'll find them there, right? Or what if I go to Plunge Cuts? Oh, you'll find all these indie comic creators. What if I go to Plunge X? Oh, you'll find these creators who create mature content like comic books and gamings and stuff. Those guys who might swear, right, when they're talking, and so they will go on the Plunge X because that's for mature people, right? It's not for kids. So I allow them to be themselves because I don't want to restrict people. So I go, well, I have this for all ages, and I have this one for for mature. I have this, and so I started Plunge Pop because of that. So now I get Latino Slant on the first episode. I get Robert Meyer Burnett on the second episode, and I'm looking for someone on the third. So I put out send out some emails and say, hey man, I'd love you to come on the third one. And I hope I get that person because it'll be so cool because they are actually a TV show creator. And what they've done is magic. And they've worked on so many other episodes of so many other shows as writer and so on. And this is their first time, I think, creating their own show 2 years ago. There are a lot of people who haven't seen that because they're not even aware. I mean, I came across it accidentally because I was looking for Mira Furlong, information about her. And I found that she was in this series. So I'm waiting for, I don't want to put that out there yet. I just want to wait him to, hopefully he'll say yes, Hopefully Mark will say yes, reply to my email and I'll have him on. But getting back, audiobook, right? So the audiobook I'm listening to right now, as I mentioned, is, and I'm working my way through, let me see, videos, library, home. And on the library home, there's a bunch of them there. Where are you? Gosh. Huh. See you all. There we go. Should do that. All right. So the one I'm listening to right now, and another one is there's one that Robert Meyer Burnett did, which is Star Trek Enterprise in conversation with Rick Berman and Brandon Braga. So if you go on our watch later, I think it is, you will find this is the audiobook I'm listening to right now. And it is called, if it'll open up and if it'll stop working and give me that, and I can put that up. So this is it here. So I'm going to put this up. And Robert Meyer Burnett, right, talked about this on his Raw Observations this week. And I listened to about 40 minutes of it or something, and he got to this, and I went, wait, hold on. I wonder if this is around online on YouTube. And then I listened to it for about 45 minutes, and I went, hold on. What does a companion look like? Because they were talking about Jeff Cochran. Can't remember, but the guy who built the engine that made him go into space and so on, the originator of the whole space travel for humans. So then I had to go and watch the original series, which was Metamorphosis, where they talk about the changeling bringing Spock, McCoy, and the really annoying commissioner who, you have to watch it. It's a real good change. But like really annoying, dude. She's the Karen of the Karens. You'll be going, it's a Karen. She's a real Karen. And so that made me laugh. But like, so this alien, which we later find is called the Companion, just, like stops their ship, brings a tractor beam type thing to the planet where Jeff, I'll get it wrong, but Cochrane is, right? And he's there as a young person, like in his 40s, right? He's supposed to be 85 or dead. And so now I'm jumping because I'm trying to keep in line with what is being said. And then I went back after I watched the episode Metamorphosis, right? Which has a changeling, the companion in it. And, and the story, you got to watch it. And you know what? I'd rather watch that series over and over again and be able to find all that than any new Star Trek that's been created in the last 10 years, right? the new track, NU track, right? I'd rather do that than watch anything. I tried really hard to like Brave New World. I watched a couple of episodes when it came out first season. Then I had somebody tell me, "Hey, it's okay," and I went back to watch it. Couldn't stomach it. It's got no soul, man. It's got no soul of Roddenberry in it. That's what I can say to you. It's in your brain. In your brain, and if you love it, it's you. I don't you do you, right? But for me, I felt like there was no soul in it. It felt like, why the hell's the ship so big? Seriously, why is the bridge ginormous? Did they not see how small and congested this one was? Where are you? Right? You're telling me that the ship, right? These ships were so congested that suddenly, right? All of a sudden they could come up with all the space in the same time frame. Like in the same time frame, they could have all the space, all these huge doorways, yet the same ships, that Enterprise at that same time was so small because they couldn't afford to spend all these billions of dollars on making huge ships like the one they have in Brave New World. That my brain just goes, this isn't real. There's no way this ship exists here, right? And it just, like, even if you watch like Enterprise, there is no like what's it, beam me up, beam me down, right? Right away, because they're learning into it and stuff like that. And even that is so small. There's only 3 people can go on it. And then when Star Trek Enterprise comes around, when this one comes around, the NCC 1701, right? There's about 5 people you can go on now. So there is these things that this new series has, and the same thing that doesn't work. Like, if you really think about it, it just doesn't connect. And that sort of, for me, goes, this is something different. This is like an Elseworld thing, right? This is part of Disney's, like what DC has, like, what if, right? But they want to make it part of the canon. So if you just said, well, this is like a what if situation, this is another your timeline, yeah, I'll accept it. But if you want to tell me it's canon, it's in that same frame, no way. So for me, it didn't work, right? And like I said, I've been watching it since I was 8 years old, right? I'm 50 now. That's 42 years, maybe even 40. No, that's wrong. 41 years, right? 41, maybe 42 years, right, of watching Star Trek and being a loyal fan. Not loyal, like I said, I'm not a nerd. I've always said that, because people go, what about this? What part of this? And I have no idea. All right, I don't know where the nacelle is. I don't even know what that is, but I know it's there. So I don't know the technical side of things, so I don't call myself a nerd, because I believe that nerds are techie people, right? That really are knowledgeable, all that. They get really into the nitty-gritty. I'm a geek, right? I love it. I'm passionate about it. I'll fight you over it, how good it is, right? But I can't argue with the technical side of it. So I just felt like it wasn't for me, right? And then I just said, yeah, it's not for me. I can't watch it. I can't force. Why waste my time hate watching something, right? And that's something else Robert said right the other day. I don't hate watch anything. I just think that's a waste of my time, right? Why hate watch something? It's like, I have such precious little time. But anyway, back to Moneyland, right? So Moneyland is a really cool story. I read 50 pages of it and I stopped, because when I was reading it, I was going, crap, this is similar to what I'm writing. And I need to, because this was before I actually met Mike and became friends with him. So this is about 2018 when I met him. When I came out of my deep depression and melancholy. And I met him because he was doing comedy and stuff like that. And I became friends with him and stuff because he knew someone I knew, down the line, who did a comic book, who's a comedian, right? And so anyway, so I just went, okay, no, I can't, it might influence what I'm reading, what I'm writing. And that's also the other thing about reading other people's stuff. Now, when you're working on your own stuff, you can get influenced, and you might, I think I could get influenced and put stuff from that book into, their stories into my own. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to like be ever thought of, oh, you got it from that, right? I do want to pay homage, right? Like have something little in there that says that. Like I was like watching this, listening to the Federations thing, right? So the book, like listening to the book, TOS Federations book, audiobook, and I thought, you know what? This is one word. Like there's a team in there called the London Kings, and Incredible. I think it's on the first page. It talks about a guy who's waiting, who's supposed to be going to a soccer like trial, and it's called the London something else because of something else. And I thought, you know what? I could pay homage, like put in like a fan thing here, so people could go, and later on, if people go, well, what was it? It's like, it's because of this. Because I listened to this book and they had that team in there. And I thought, instead of like having this team in there that I originally, what if I have this team in there? Because the book isn't out yet. So I can do that. If the book was out, I'd be like, could have done that then. But like, yeah, because we're still preparing Incredible #1 because we're waiting on like the backers. There's 3 things we got to put in there before we can actually get it to the printers. And that is an appearance of an original character from a backer, an appearance of another speaking, both of them are speaking roles, another speaking role from another person, and it's either going to be a policeman or a fireman, because I think they're both, or they have been both, or are one or either, and do it. And then we also got to do the interviews with them and stuff. And then also there's a non-speaking role. So I got to get the images off them to put into the comic book for Kevin to draw them in, because I've already decided where they're going to go. It's going to be page 16 and 17, because that's where it works really well for those people to be in. And I did like really plan it out, because it's what people have paid to have themselves in the comic book, which is, for me, man, that's just amazing. Like to have someone say, hey, I want to be part of that for forever, right? And then paying for it to be in it, which is even better, amazing. So Moneyland, like, let's have a look at Moneyland, right? So Moneyland is, let me see. So there's Michael from Christchurch, right? Michael Batur, born 1984 in Christchurch, New Zealand, is the author of 5 acclaimed short story collections, 4 novels, page and pub poetry collection, Loudmouth, and the children's book, My Animal Family. So this is something that's like, I think this is the one they're looking to make a film out of. I might be wrong there, right? He has won awards for short fiction in the US, Australia, and New Zealand. Batur has published journalism in most major newspapers and magazines in New Zealand, as is concentrating on screenwriting in 2022. He lives in Whangarei with his 2 kids. And the deal is this: kids, you can stay up late and I'll tell you some dark tales, though you may not become unnerved. You have been warned. So, creative writing, bachelors and stuff. And you can also, let me get, right, you can go to this page for stuff as well. Let me just put that up there since I've got it. You guys can see. So the one, yep. Okay, let's bring that up large. I think that's probably better if we bring him up large, so you can read it. So I don't have to, look at it elsewhere. So, yeah. got an award in 21 for Best Australians and Horror Writers Association Short Story for award for Test of Death. Is Test of Death in here? Wait, that's the wrong one. I'm looking at the wrong one. And the other thing, he's self-published a lot of his books, and now he's basically got backed by the Sega Group, right? Publishers. So, right, these guys picked him up. Hard work pays off, right? Sometimes it doesn't, but he's determined. He's a great writer, and you know, I'm just, like I said, I just have a terrible thing with writing, but I should read one of his books. I mean, one of the stories at least, right? Let me see if the Test of Death is in here or if it's another one. Yep. So if you buy this, you can, you know, if you download this off Goodreads, right? Buy it off there for a couple of bucks, you'll be able to, you know, get that story in there, the winning, you know, award-winning story as well. So, and the other thing, like if you just want a taste of people's work, buying short story books is the best way to go because you can, you know, get an idea of what they're about. And like me, he's a Clive Barker fan, right? You can't go wrong with Clive Barker fans, right? Which there should be a book here somewhere of Cabal, which is my favorite Clive Barker book, next to the Hellbound Heart. Cabal being Nightbreed, the movie. It's based on that, and then also Hellbound Heart is Hellraiser. So let's see. No, we don't want to have a look at anybody else's. So let's have a look what they say. I want to read. No, I don't want to read. I want to know about the book. Book details. Is there any? I thought it would tell you more about stories. There you go. Dystopic survival. Right. Fascinating, shocking. I hope there are more books coming. I love Lord of Flies-esque stories. This one I will definitely read again. Right. Yeah. So, okay. So first things first, it took me such a long time to finish this book. When I started, it still had its old cover. The new one is an absolute bomb. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if Michael would like me to tell you this, but he gave me the book, the first one with the original cover, right? And I was like, you need to get rid of this cover. I was like, please, this book doesn't tell you anything. The cover, sorry, doesn't tell you anything about what's in the book. It's not a sci-fi looking cover, right? And so once he got some money and stuff, he redid it. And this is a new release. I think I'm not sure if I have the new one, and here's the thing I've learned over the years, because I've collected books and comics and all that, right, for ages, and I love art. Covers, right? Let's get this over here. No, it's that one. Covers let people know everything, or as much as they can, about what to expect, right? This is a good cover for a horror book. You can see the tentacles, right, over here around the dude's legs, and you go, okay, this is creepy. Writing stories. Is it the author that's getting pulled away by the creepy tentacles? You know, that sort of thing. And if you have something that doesn't connect with the cover up to the story, and this is what's been done in comics before, like where they have guests, they have to pay somebody. This is like mostly in the 90s, right? Where they used to pay pay like guest artists to come and do the artwork, and they haven't even read the story. They'll just say something weird, right? And then you open the book up, so this is not what it said on the cover, and you feel like you've been ripped off, right? You know, it's like something like Hulk appears on the earth. Inside, Hulk doesn't appear, right? And so, you know, I said to him, like, dude, you're not doing yourself any service by having this cover. And so over time, he changed it, and it was great. And you can see the cover looks amazing right here. So check it out. This is Moneyland on Goodreads, Michael Bitter. I promise you, you will love it. And if you don't, it's okay, right? But, you know, you'll enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I had to stop reading because, you know, I could imagine everything. And I just said, this would make a great comic book. And of course, he owns it. And in time, I will, you know, I'll be able to like work through it. And even if he, you know, I ask him to script it himself, so he can be the creator owner of his own work. And maybe somebody out there will go, hey, you know, even maybe his publisher goes, hey, why don't we adapt it into a graphic novel, right? Because it'll really be good. It's the imagery and there's amazing. It's a sci-fi, robotics, you know, all this stuff. Just great thing. You know, it's like watching a sci-fi reality show, you know, and it's just great. And it's a book it's a young adult type theme book, if I remember right. Let me just check here. Excuse me. What are we looking at here? So, I wonder who gave the 1 star or 2 stars. Maybe it was because of the cover, all right? But where are you? I wish there was like a about. Don't they always have an about? Why can't I find an about this book? This is weird as. Anyway, I guess you have to sign in to do that. Whatever. Okay, I'm not saying I'm coming up on 2 hours. I think that's enough talking about that and about Babylon 5. So let's get to some unboxing. So let's clip it to unboxing. So I remember when I'm trying to like get some clips, I know where to clip it from. So here we go. So this week has been really, really cool because over the last week I've just been buying auction, you know, really, you know, a whole bunch of toys at auction and getting good deals on them. Like, I mean, seriously, right? I mean, this is, of course, very, you know, goes back a long way and it's very dear to me. So I'm gonna put this gently back where it can not hurt anything, or not be hurt by anything. Come here, Homer. Get out of the way. Homer's one of the ones I got recently. I can't remember exactly when, but I mean, I think I picked him up on thrift shop. So let's get rid of our money land. There we go. Yeah, it's quite. Let me change the lighting on that. Excuse me. It's kind of, maybe not. There we go. Right. So this is like a vinyl PVC figure. So it must have come with a whole bunch of stuff because it's got a whole lot of holes in the back that you could dress it up with, you know, character-wise. You know, I also have another Homer somewhere that does a hula dance, right? That speaks. It's got the hula skirt, and I feel for those people in Maui right now, man. I really do. I just heard some things today about Maui and how FEMA took 3 days, how the president took 5 days, like I said, to respond. Just want to go there, sorry. But to all my American viewers, and if you're watching this from Hawaii, my heart goes to you, man, all the and your family and your loved ones. And I just, yeah, we're so far away from you guys, but yeah, man. Well, you know, I don't know what to say in times like this. I'm just not really at it. Like, I've had a death in the family this week. I just don't know what to say at things like that. Because I think anything I say will sound callous, so I try not to say anything at all. Because you don't know how anybody will take it. Yeah. So this week, I was bidding on, like, I was talking to a auctioneer, right? So he had this on, and I actually have one of these, but it's a different one around here somewhere. Hold on. And I also have a whole bunch of big ones, which I don't know where. Oh, there it is. It's a different one. So I've got, excuse me. So like you guys already know, I'm a huge Batman fan, right? So right now, all I'm concentrating is getting as much as Batman or Batman related, you know, Batmobiles, characters, whatever I can. So this is the one I have, and this is now the one I got. So this was what was shown, and I was like, okay, cool, man, this is gonna be awesome. And then part of that auction was free, right? I'll complete that in a minute. I'll show you. So now this guy has a channel on YouTube because he's a Batman collector, way bigger Batman collector than me. And so I've asked him to come on the podcast, like on this one, and talk about it. So this is the other one, was that part of it, right? Remember, these are auction. I haven't bought this at full price, right? These are at auction. So if I remember right, the cost I paid for this one, all this, is the price of one of these. So look at the details on this, right? The wheels spin, right? The guns at the front. They're plastic, they're mounted, they don't move. This one has a bit of a move to it, but not really. You know, and the front guns, right? These are just, it's a model kit rather than like a feature thing. But also, this is like a remote controlled one, right? So, you know, I guess maybe you could take these out, but I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to break it in case it doesn't. So this is a remote control, and it's got a battery pack. It's got a left and right, you know, so there you go, right? So I didn't know much about that. I didn't care to even know what was in it, what they did and stuff. All I cared was that they were like, you know, basically, you know, I think maybe I saw this with it. So now you've got a remote control Batmobile. Well, I've never had one. So now I've got one of these, right? So maybe this is worth about, at retail, might have been about $40, $50 on its own, brand new, right? But this is basically brand new. It's very well looked after. So you've got that one, and you've got this one, and so there is another one. So this is Tyco RC, right? Tyco RC. No, can't see it. Sorry. So this is a remote control one again. So there's two remote control Batmobiles, right? Now, there's a battery pack that you can charge with USB, right? So know that. Plus, I have extra batteries, AAA's, but right, I've got a whole bunch of them because my brother-in-law works at the hospital, and he gets those, like, they use some sort of like instant camera things for the X-ray or whatever it is, and they're only allowed to use like a couple of times the battery, and it drains it really fast, and they can't use it again, right? They have to get rid of it because it might not give you the full imaging, whatever it is. I don't know all these things, right? I'm not that technical like that. And so for me, you know, he just brings them home rather than throwing it out. And so you can, you know, you get a couple more days, you know, a couple more hours use out of them, because it's not the same level of power that's needed to just run a torch or run an RC, I guess, or in my case, remote TV remotes and stuff. And of course, there is this one, right? I have a larger version of this when it first came out. So, yeah, I have 3 new Batmobiles this week. Thanks to, let me find his channel because I love to show you guys. Because he sent it to me when I didn't know he had a channel until, you know, I paid for it, and I asked him, hey man, I love to, would you like to come on and talk about your things? And said, oh, I actually have a channel that I do all this stuff on. Now, where is it? So there is that, and there's a piece, here it is. So with this, he said he had found some pieces that were missing that he was, because he in the post, in the auction, he had basically said, this is what's there. And then he texted me, messaged me, emailed me and said, oh dude, I actually found this, the fins and stuff. Because, you know, and it's the fins, the top fins is the one he's missing, like he needed for another car, right? So this one, you know, I'll need to find this one somehow, somewhere, and or make it up myself. It's not going to be that difficult. Just cut up some plastic. But he found these, right? Is it the one? I think that's the one. Yeah. So there's that one. Yeah. So they swing up and down, right? So you got your 2 fins, and this was found later after he had actually sold, actually after I bought it off him at auction. So one of the other good things, like one of the things about this was when I was like talking to him, I said, oh, well, you know, how big are they and so on, and would you, you know, blah blah blah. And then Carlos, who knows that I collect, who's a good friend of mine, right? Ooh. Carlos is a good friend of mine. Basically, you know, he said, hey, look, man, have you seen this? Because he knows I'm a Batman collector, right? And he goes, toy collector. He goes, you've seen these? I said, yeah, man, I'm the one who's talking to him. Okay. He said, okay, I won't bid on it against you. I said, cool. So, yeah. And so now I have 3 new, almost new, well looked after Batmobiles from 3 different eras, right? I guess this is from like the new, like, is it 2 or 3? Is it Dark Knight, or is it the, I can't remember what the last one's called. Where is it? There's a DVD over here, so I'm sure I'll be able to tell you. What are you? Dark Knight Rises. Is it from Dark Knight Rises? Come here, you. Let's find out which car you're from. Right. Dang nabbit. Nope, doesn't have any pictures on the friggin' Batmobiles in it. That sucks. Look at that. This one actually has one DC Comics superheroes. Look at that. They actually put that in the Dark Knight Rises. Maybe that's when they realized that, hey, why don't we promote comic books? Right? Because this is based on comics. I think like studios and people writing them and producing movies, they don't have all the brains up here, to be honest. I think they don't. So there is that lot. Put that out of the way. So the other thing that came through this week, and that one, and I'm going to tell you guys, in New Zealand, that cost me $38 delivered. Right, that's $16.50. So I'd say that's $10 for Korea, right? For postage, for delivery. And the rest, which is around about $20 odd or something. Yeah, $22 for those three. 2 RC and 1 Batmobile. 2 RC Batmobiles, remote control Batmobiles, and 1, just a normal one. So there is that. Now, I mentioned I was going to talk about, I'll finish up with the other thing. So the other great deal I got this week, go back in there, buddy, done great coin thing, was this lot. So, and a lot of times if you converse or comment and ask questions of auctioneers, right, auctioneers, you'll find that like they they're happy to combine or maybe work out some sort of deal. Some people don't. Some people ask, and I'm like, I don't go, well, if I buy this and this, you give me cheaper, because I know they're selling because that's what their price they're putting on there, right? So I ended up, like he said, yeah, I'd be happy to combine. So I went and put like, about up to like about $3-4 on each one of these. Is there any more? Yeah. But the one I wanted was this. Sam. He's my favorite hero. He's my favorite Hollywood actor right now, next to Stephen Amell. You might have seen the little short video I put up about it. Like, he basically is speaking, right? Zachary is speaking what the fans think, right now. Like, why can't I get out there and start promoting movies that I'm already being paid for to promote? That's what we're saying. Well, why don't you get out there and promote the movies that you've already been paid for by the studios that we, and it's like, doesn't work. And it's the same like Stephen Amell said, like, why are you like kneecapping us, right? Like, at the moment, apart from the AI thing, I believe, and this is my personal opinion, that a strike is pointless. They shouldn't be doing anything else apart from just talking about the AI stuff. And the strikes are going to whittle away all the dross from the industry that's been hanging on in the hopes of making it. The talent will be kept, anybody else will be gone. And the studio will carry on, whittling them out until they give up. Because when the money runs out, like I said, it's all about the money. When the money runs out, they will, they'll have to go get a job elsewhere. And then once you get used to living like normal people, not getting paid $2,000 a day or $3 million for a film, that's more than anybody, normal, average person makes in a lifetime. So that's why we don't care. That's why you'll notice a lot of people just don't care about the strikes, because we have learned that they don't care about normal people. They don't care about the fact you have to afford food, pay the power bill, pay internet, or whatever you got, when you can get paid $2,000 a day just to sit around. That's $360 maybe US, 3.2, yeah, New Zealand dollars, right? So when you're out there saying all these things and people see you for who you really are, they're not going to support you later when you try to get in, when your movie comes out. They go, well, I remember when you did that. People don't have short memories. When it comes to stuff like this, what they care about, long-term memories, man. So anyway, I ended up getting all these figures, right? Where's the other one? The most I paid was for this, $3 for Hulk bobblehead, Funko Pop, $3, right? Because I said to him, will you do combined shipping? I said, yeah. So I got this for $1, right? I already have this. I got this for $1. Already have this. Machine. Is it me machine? And I also got this for $1, right? And of course this as well. So what I'm going to do is going to look at what I have, right? All these 4, I think that I have, and I'm going to sell these 4, right? And that's the whole reason I went and put my hand on this. out of all these 6, yep, the only 2 I'm keeping are these 2, because I have all those 4 from another auction that came in. So I paid $1 for him, and I paid $3 for him. But I really wanted him. Didn't really care about him or any of the others, but I really wanted him. But because I did he said combined shipping, I went, oh, well, I'll put a couple of bucks on each one. And I've got it. And and this is such a cool figure because you can turn all the way around, I think, and you can look at his butt. That was my, I actually took a photo and texted to Carlos and said, the cool thing is he can do that. But so this is a really cool figure. So you've got the boots that turn. You've got the knees that bend, right? You've got the leg that moves up and down. You've got the hands that turn around. You've got, you've got the wrist, sorry, the elbow that does the same. But also, let me get back up. It goes up and down, right? For the joints, right? So you can really pose them. And then you got the shoulder, and of course, you got the, the whatever position with the legs, but then also got the waist. So you can really do some really cool poses with them if you want, right? Of course, you can just make them fly, right? But it's a really cool figure. I was trying to figure out, and this is the whole auction was because I wanted this. So I try to figure out what, who put it out. And of course, it's got the beautiful peg legs, for standing on. And, yeah, there's nothing, doesn't say what company and stuff, whatever. So I kind of think this is maybe like a knockoff, right? But of the actual thing, and sold at a lower cost, whatever. But I love it. I think it's great. It's got the beautiful, rubber, PVC, whatever, cape that bends. And the head, of course, I didn't mention that the head, turns side to side, could go all the way around, up and down, and all that. It's got a real cool look to him. Looks like Zack. Really cool. Get a little smirk there. And that's great. So 6 figures and $9. And I think it was about $10 postage. So it's that, because it's a lot, right? So at the moment it's like about $8, $9 or $10 postage. So it's all that for $16.50. But the main one just cost me $4, which is what I wanted, right? So that was amazing, deal, and it really, it was great to get that, along with, with my Batmobiles, 2 RCs and a normal one. Now, the other thing I picked up last week was this. I don't know what it was, so I put up on the NZ Action and Action Figures and Collectors group page. It's Zoid. I knew I recognized it. I remember watching some of the episodes back in the day when I was I might watch it again, but I remember watching this. So somebody said this was like a Burger King figure. It's got these finger holes, so you can actually have it on your hand. Of course, you got to have smaller fingers kids' fingers to run and stuff. You can pretend you're running, but it doesn't really work for my hands, or whatever. And it's die cast, which is really cool. So it's got plastic tail, it's got plastic back guns, whatever you want to call it, rifles, and then the one at the top is plastic as well, right? So this one here. So these are plastic. There's 4 items. It is 4 items, but it's all metal, die cast, right? Which is kind of surprising for me because I was like, do Burger King or McDonald's actually would put out that? And the other thing is I couldn't find any markings that I could see on it. There is some, but it's really hard to read, right? So blended in. Burger. Yeah, it's kind of actually made in China. Yeah, can't see the rest of it. It's really small. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about, that I wanted to mention, was board games. Right? So my brother, a few years back, I can't remember exactly when, bought me this, right? I've tried to play it, but there's nobody that around me that would play that, because I'm a huge Risk fan. I used to play, I actually painted a meter by meter, a meter square dinner table, right? That I had as a Risk board. That's how much I loved it, the game, and we used to play on it. So I painted all the places, the original, like with, you know, Australia, and I actually painted in New Zealand as well, and so on, and all the other countries and stuff, and then in the right colors, and we just play on the table, the neater board. That was left with my ex-wife when I didn't even think about that, and the chairs and all that, which was part of our family for decades. I mean, for quite a while, because it was a table that was bought, and my mum gave to me when we got married. That was bought for our shop. We used to have a takeaway where mum used, we used to make pies and stuff, and like a cantina kind of thing back in the day in Morewa, and people would come from all around to eat the pies that my mum cooked, because that was it. She's a real good chef. Been a chef all her life, cook chef all her life. So I really love this. I really want to get down to play this someday, but it's such a long game, and this is like, what is it? This is Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? It's such a such a cool thing to have, and you can play the Avengers, right? And you can play the Guardians of the Galaxy. There's another one, I think. This is well thought out. Like, there's so much really cool stuff, right? The maps and stuff. And let me see if you can. Yeah. So it's age 10, 2 to 5 players, right? And you've got all these little things. So we picked most of them out, like that you could, like cards and stuff and places. And like I said, I've never actually had a chance to play this thing. And there's also Marvel's. This isn't even Marvel's Captain America Civil War. So the board is huge, by the way. Let me just have a look show you all these little figures. And that's a cool thing about these. They come with, the tower and so on. What is it? Avengers Tower. You've got all these little, little figures, characters that you can, as your markers, as your army, whatever. You got tokens, right? Focus. There we go. You got your planets, right? You've got your paper tokens or the card tokens, right? Different shapes and stuff, I guess, for different games. And then you've got all your game cards and whatever stories you got to play, like this one here. There you go. Am I holding it the right way? This is the Nova Corps Zendor, right? And then you've got this info card at the back. And I guess this is for, like, you got to put together for the shield helicarrier, right? So this is, I mean, so cool. And then you got the whatever community cards, what do they call it? This card's intentionally left blank, right? So why is this card intentionally left blank, right? So you got all these little things that I think you put in to make it all work out, right? Stand up. You've got, you got your tokens, little areas. Ultron Sentry +2 to highest die when attacking, -1 to highest die when defending, right? Stuff like that. And you've got your risk cards. And like I said, I haven't played this. We tried once, but you got to really. Is that holding it upside down? Huh? Weird. Yeah. So so this is kind of like the main cards and stuff, the gameplay. So this is stealth interception. That's on the back of it. Sadly, you can't get, there we go, a bit more focus there. Okay, so there's so much. You got the dice and stuff. Yeah, there's so many cool things, right, that comes with this. So I don't remember how much it costs, but like I said earlier on, right, my family knows what I love. And whatever they buy me, it's always in line, like 90%, 99% in line with pop culture. Because they know I'm a dedicated and passionate fan of pop genres, right? Pop culture and stuff like that. And so they know I'll be happy if they get me these things. So, my brother is in Australia. Recently, my sister went over to visit with the family, and he sent back a pack of socks, right? And you would think, you got socks. And I'm like looking at them going, yes, they're all Marvel socks, each character socks. So he just didn't think, well, I'll just buy him socks. But it came at the right time because I was like, I'm going to have to get rid of old socks. And next thing I know, my sister goes, hey, this is, bro sent you this. And I go, oh, cool, let's have a look. And I'm open and go, oh, this is so cool. It's like a little, what's called advent calendar type things. Like each one you could open up, but it is an advent calendar. And there's like She-Hulk, there's like Iron Man, there is Thor, and so on, and Hulk. And, there's like an 8-pack, I think it was, or 9-pack. So, yeah, and it was just cool. So my brother tends to always know what I love, and so does all my family, right? So they always, I always get some cool stuff that's related to pop culture, right? Check out this Hulk. I think that's the biggest figure around compared to all the little ones, right? Like Captain America, there with his shield, right? And you got Hulk. Check that out. That's pretty cool. So, yeah. So I think, as a fan of board games, right, and Risk and stuff. So I am currently designing, and I mentioned this the other day on podcast on Monday mornings with Aru. Let me get you over to where I can show you and why I brought up the board game thing today. Because, I'm writing board game instead of what I'm supposed to be writing. Okay. It works in mysterious ways. Let's go. So this is currently what I am. Another thing that I'm working on, right? Because I'm always working on something, and this is another, right, related to board games. Let me have a look. So this is Zoolandia, all right? So you'll find Zoolandia and information about Zoolandia here. So let's put this up here like this so you can see. So Zoolandia is a world I'm creating that I'm looking at probably about 10 standalone issues of comic books, 22 pages of stories. So I want to have all these characters come together on the board game. Like, so you could play the board game after having read the comics and the characters. And then in 5 years or 10 years, we release a board game. By the time I'll hopefully have enough money and to pay artists, to do great works on it. And at first I thought I could get, artists from New Zealand to do it. But it's, sometimes things just don't work the way you want it to work. And so you try to do whatever you can to make it work. So I forgot to show you I just realized the actual board for that before we carry on. So let me get rid of that. And, if you're on Facebook, please follow the page. You'll get more information as I slowly build the universe up. So before I go any further, let me show you. Where are we here? This, my dear friends and viewers, I'm going to pull my headphone up, is the board, right, for the Risk Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's huge. It's like maybe about 60 centimeters or 80, maybe. Check it out. So that's that side. This is this. I guess this is the wrong way. Guardians of the Galaxy, and maybe this is the. Yep, this is the one with the shield. Helicarrier. Very well thought out, and very. Hopefully, it's not too complicated for my little brain to work out. But as I said, I haven't played it yet. I need to find the right people to sit down and concentrate, get some drinks around, get some food, and really, some people who are really into it. I had a couple of years ago, a couple of decades back, I had two friends, Luke and Brian, who were really keen on that. I like come over and we just play for hours. And the other one I wanted to open today is this. But back to Zealandia, right? So Zealandia is my IP outside of my I guess relationship with Rising Sun Comics. This is something I wanted to just do on my own, and I know it's going to cost a lot of money to do on my own. And so I'm hoping that when we offer it up on Kickstarter or something like that, on crowdfunding, that people will come to back it. So what is Zealandia? Zealandia is a fantastical world where us as humans can walk in, in our natural everyday life in this world, can walk into it accidentally, through mist or fog, through going into a cave, and walking into it, or we can die and go into it, or we can be brought back to life in it, and it doesn't matter. Like in this world, there are people that have already been there for like 100 years from our Earth, right? And then there are people who just walked in yesterday, right? And so there's several stories about as part of this thing, right? So let me get you to what I posted most recently, which was this, right? This is my work thing, right? This is, on and off. I've been working on this, and this is something I wrote in 2015, a Dragon Story add-on, right? Which I'm going to be making into this. So it's not something I've just thought about recently. The world of this fantasy type world, I've been thinking for a while, over a decade, I guess, almost maybe 15, 8 years. Yeah, almost a decade. But further than that, I've been thinking about stuff like that. So I'm thinking about all these different, and I've trademarked them all because I don't want people to steal the titles and stuff, because I'm going to be using myself. So, there's all these different little stories in there. Dahlia and Devandra's, journey. Who are they? The other side of here and stuff like that. Zealandia. Fear Is All I Have is the most recent story I've just been writing. It's talking about the demon and the fairy race and their conflict and how that comes about, or why it comes about, or whatever. So there's that story. So now when you go into playing the board game or reading the other comics, you know how they fit in. So I'm trying to bring all this little this original thing together in its own little universe. This is not part of Plunge Universe or anything like that. So to do that and to learn how board games work, I've been buying a bunch of board games, right? Like I mentioned, these ones, there's, I wonder if you guys have played Monopoly, right? Marvel, right? 80 years. This is a great little thing. It's got like these really cool, it's got the, Monopoly board, right? It's got these little plastic, hold on, let's put it back up to that one. So it's got these little plastic comic books, right? It's got Marvel at the top here, and it's really plastic. So yeah, it's got these really cool, right, metal, because it's metal tokens, right? These, it's worth having just for these, if I can say that, right? You've got your Marvel 80s notes. You've got the X-Men stuff. You could play with so many different main key, titles. You got Spider-Man. You got Shield. Yeah, the Shield, right? I hope I got that right. You got Avengers, you know. I can't remember who this is. You guys probably know, right? Of course, there's T'Challa, with the Black Panther faction. You've got Avengers. I think I've just put that up. You've got Fantastic Four. I hope they don't ruin them. They seem to have ruined everything else now with Marvel Studios. I just wish they just get rid of everybody that's there and just bring in the people who write the comics and go, hey, man, build us a universe like, they did with the Avengers series, minus, Captain Marvel. So you got that. And then also you have the graphic novels, the red ones, right? And they're plastic tokens. So your hotels are your graphic novels, your houses are your floppies. Oh, can't see that. Sorry, guys. And then you've got, you've got your cards, and each one has a little comic book image of it in there and tells you, travel to another dimension, right? Advance to go, collect 200. Stuff like that. This, just having the comics is really cool. Like crime rate soar in the city after he ditched the Spider-Man suit and quit being a hero. Look at that. Come on, focus, focus, focus. No, it doesn't want to focus, but that's a Spider-Man cover for that. So it's, they have really thought it out, as far as I'm concerned. Like it's like really fan service, right? And I don't know what it is about Western media. They don't care about fan service, right? They go off on about Japanese people doing fan service. It's like, yeah, because they know how to make money, because they want to make money, because they believe in their product being good, right? And I just wish, Americans would do the same. But there are certain people out there that just don't care about, pleasing the fans, because pleasing the fans is bad. Not that it'll get you money, it'll help you make more stuff, because that's why I do this, right? I create because I want to make money to make more creative stuff, right? Put my work out there, right? Be able to maybe someday bring a toy out, right? Then people can have my toy, my character, like I have, other people's characters, right? That I have, all these other toys and stuff because I like them. So I'd like someday to have somebody have one of mine, or have someone have one of mine done up as a, with clothing and stuff, right? This is actually, I forgot to mention, these are actually fabric, by the way, guys, right? This is actually a fabric, right? Doesn't have too much articulation. I think it's about 5 or 8 points of articulation, knees bend, right? Hips bend, body does, torso doesn't turn, head turns, right? Elbows turn, right? But shoes don't. But it comes with like actual fabric, like the fabric of the actual character's costume, right? Like this one here with Sheridan from, these are from Babylon 5. So yeah, capitalism isn't bad. Capitalism lifts people out of poverty. It's the one thing that is so good about capitalism. It lifts people out of poverty. But on a negative, it can keep the lowest workers in poverty, because one of the things they do is they do this one is that they tend to try to get as much money make as much money without looking after the workers. And that's what I can agree with when it comes to the strikers, right? I don't like the fact that their image can be taken and used as fillers for whatever movie, whatever time, for forever, without their knowledge, or if they signed up one time. But people are like signing up themselves to stuff like that. Like you look at James Earl Jones, signed away his voice, got whatever money, because he realized, well, I'm going to die anyway. At least I can leave something for my kids, and my family, right? And so there is that. A lot of these younger ones, they don't understand that, and I can understand that. For me, saying what I say right now can actually damage my brand in the future. What if somebody goes someday, oh, well, we're going to make an animated series based on your show, and they go, oh, I remember that time you said that. And of course they will use that about voice actors or about actors and stuff, and we don't want to work with you. It's like, I don't care anymore. It's gotten to a point I'd rather not have any version of my work out there, right? Apart from comic books, right? Because I'd rather just be happy with getting my comics out there. So it doesn't bother me that much now if someday somebody used what I'm saying now against me, because I'm like, yeah, why can't I be honest to myself? So let me get rid of Zoolandia. And so I bought this. I think it was only for a couple bucks, right? So because like I said, I'm learning how to make board games. So I bought this one. It's all, it's been very well loved, tattered and all that, but all the pieces basically look like they're there. So I'm like, it would be cool to learn about how people come up with gameplay, stuff. And, and I could, when I'm sitting down with someone, when I'm writing, trying to come up with the rules about my characters, because right now, as I'm creating the scripts, the stories, I'm actually in my head going, what's their power structure? What do they look like? How will it, not always think about the board game, but I'm always thinking about the comic book, how it relates to each other. So, someday when I find someone who can write a gameplay for me, right? Because I want my game to be something like, kind of like Risk and Monopoly mixed, right? So that it's like, it's easy to play, but it's also fun. And so when you buy this, right, buy my board game, you'll also have the comic book in there and go, yeah, these are the characters. So you actually end up going, here's all 10 issues, if you want, as the final thing, along with the board game, right? And I know, and like, so you got all these tokens and stuff, and I'm like, okay, how does it all work? If you guys have played Zombicide, you guys know exactly, right? And so I don't know, I've never played it. I remember selling it, looking to sell a add-on, or what is it called, like whatever, an add-on pack, whatever, expansion pack, right, in the shop back in 2015, because I thought, oh, okay, I'll build the entire game. Then realized it was just an add-on. But having all these really cool things to to do, kind of like, end up, for his research for when I do my own game, right, that I have something to go off and to make Zoolandia, right, the easiest thing I can think of for players, right? So that it'll be more fun. It'll, kids will be able to play it, and cancel that. Sorry, back here. That Zoolandia will be something, right? Something fun for people, right? That this game, this universe will be fun. It'll have dwarves in it, fairies, demon lords, it'll have barbarians, because I love Conan, right? There's a story I wrote for, like, that's part of Conan in here, like not the Conan thing, but the barbarian thing, because a friend of mine, he's also loves Conan. So I went and did a story. I think it's called Kalantra. I think it's Kalantra. So this one here, right? That's part of it. If you can, let me put this here. So you can see Kalantra over there. It's the fourth one down, right? Oh, no, sorry. It's the first one. Clariton Trook. He's the barbarian in our thing, right? And he's on a hunt to get revenge for a death. That's his story, right? So you get to know this character through this one-shot comic book. And you read Fantastical Romy. How did Romy end up in this world, in Zoolandia? Then you read Kalantra, and that's about something else. I can't remember right now. And, because like I said, I'm writing friggin' 7 comic books right now and working on those projects. And then I've got this here. So whenever this comes into my head, I go, okay, write down this. And then when I've had enough writing, I go back to the other project, right? So I want to bring the best of everything I love to Plunge Universe, with the comics, with the superhero, with the sci-fi mature series as well. Talking about mature series, if you can, if you're able, please join my Patreon, right? Because I could really, and this the reason for this is that I want to be able to pay my creatives all year round, like, you know, keep them on a good stipend, right, all year round, so that they can, when they come to work with me, they don't have to worry about if they get, you know, if they get paid or not. Because that's why I sort of said, I work with a couple of my guys. I said, listen, man, and not everybody wants to mature content because, you know, like they don't want to be known for that, and some don't care. I don't care because, like, I've always from the start I've said I'm doing mature comics as well. I'm doing all ages and I'm doing mature comics. I'm telling stories I want to tell, and whichever genre and age group they fit in, that's where they'll belong. So for our Patreon, right, it's the mature comics that we do. So you can go and see that page, and you'll find that, like, there's mature content. So there'll be pencil art, there'll be like inked art that we can't show on Facebook or on social media because, you know, risque, nudity, and all that stuff, right? But it allows me to share that work of my creators, right, of my illustrators, and you'll get to see some really cool behind the scenes stuff. And you'll get to, you know, I'll talk about the projects, you know, do little podcast recordings, whatever, about those projects and why they are the way they are, why I made them the way they are, why did I change something, and why that character is the way that character is, that I can't talk about, you know, like that's public, you know, like in a public forum. But I can talk about them on that page. So, you know, you can donate to it, leave a couple stipends, whatever, a couple dollars, or just, you know, it's $3 to join for average. And then there's other things you can do where you can, like, I'm still working, like getting original artwork that you can actually buy off my artists. You know, that's something I got to negotiate with them, work out with them. And I've got two artists who are actually working on some great books. One's a sci-fi, one's a supernatural horror. And, you know, and the work that's coming out, man, is friggin' brilliant. Like, I cannot be more proud of the work we're putting out, right? Because I get to see it. I get to see my things come to life through my artist work, artist creativity. You know, I'm going to find something, if I can, and show you. Let me see. Where are you? Gosh. Give me one sec. While you wait, have a look at, where are you? When Mousy, come back here. Have a look at this map, right? Because this map, remove myself. This map is what the whole universe at the moment, right? That's the first country that we're basing the story in. The world is called Akashara, right? The land, the north and south, you know, it's got the land there, the southern kingdom of Zealandia, the northern kingdom, right? And it's got your small, you know, let me see if I can bring that up a bit more before I go and look for that stuff. Right. Right. So there you go. And this is where I live, right over here. Waters Rain, right? Beautiful, beautiful little city. We're surrounded by, you know, like on the west coast, I always get it wrong. Is it east, west? Anyway, it's on that side from where I'm sitting, right? So there's a harbor and stuff like that, and the island. So over here is where, you know, on the left. Let me see. Wait. Yeah, I guess if you're looking directly at it, it's on the left side of the screen. Left side of what you call it, of Waters Rain, right? Whangarei. So, you know, this is the world that, like, I want to base the board game in and the comics, so that everybody gets to, you know, get to see the beauty of New Zealand, right? I think you guys have already seen it through Lord of the Rings and stuff, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. Now I've forgotten what I was going to. Oh yes, right. I was going to show you some artwork that's being worked on right now. So have a look at that, and I'm going to play a little bit of music. Hopefully it won't override this while you're watching, reading that, and I'll try to be back really soon. Is it playing? Not playing? No, I can't hear, but hopefully it's working for you guys. Give me 1 second, or a couple. Right. Okay, well, keep the memory foam pillow keep dropping off. Get in there. Right, so let me put this away, board games away, and I'm going to do, like, let me see here. So, all right, bear with me, and share screen. Where are you, buddy? There you are. Ooh, pardon me. So when I say check out my artist's work, right, and how amazing it is, this is a single panel, right? This is a single panel, right? That was penciled, and this is the full page. All right, let me get rid of the text so you guys don't know what the story is. Right, so this is why I'm so proud of what we're putting out. That's coming out right soon. Let me see. Oh, sorry, the music wasn't still playing. Didn't realize that. My bad. So if you guys watching want to ask questions, ask away, and I'll tell you. So this is a 16-page short. This is page 6, if I remember right, of that 16-page short. This is called Robot Nation. Actually, this story itself is called The Trouble with Bobo, right? TM, by the way, right? So The Trouble with Bobo is about a young family, with a young kid, who are going to a planet, right? And the idea, they're going to this planet and they're going to live there, right? The mum's some space biologist, right? And dad's up space as a pilot, all right? So he's going to go and be a whatever job they're going to be. It's only a 16-page short, right? Complete story, right? I don't like short stories. Just I gotta go read it next week, because I think unless you're doing like a mini series, people who are reading shorts, they just want to have a complete story. So I do anyway, right? Self-contained story, I should say. And so I want to show you the pencil for this. So this is like the Trouble with Bobo, right? This is a page from it, and you can see what I mean, like how great my artist is on this. This is Francisco Conti, right? Conti. And so when he sent me this yesterday, I sent him this with the lettering on it, right? Because he sent me this first, the pencil work. So he sends me the pencil work. I spend a couple. I spend a couple of days. I get around to it, and last night I was able to letter both pages, and I sent them back to him, and then he sends me back with the inks, because he sends me them and goes, and then like waits for me to say, is it all good? And normally I say no, nothing. I'm like, I don't say anything's bad. I just say I love it, thank you, because I'm just letting my artist do what he does because he's great at it. I don't need to question what he's doing. He's putting out exactly what I asked of him. And so I don't, he's giving me everything I want. And I don't often tell my artists to change anything unless there's something very, very key to the story, or it's not what I specifically don't want in it. But, there's, I got a spam, I think. Annoyed feeling here. Spam. Anyway, it's like all the Fiverr guys that turned up in my DM when we started doing the Kickstarter. Anyway, guys. So yeah. So, you know, this is the pencil work he did. And then you, of course, you get to see the amazing ink, right? For it. He inks his own work. And I get to put text on it without trying to like be too damaging to his artwork, right? Because I love showcasing my artist's artwork. And I think, you know, you gotta serve. And here's the thing. Remember, like if you were watching from the start, I mentioned that I don't want to see Sheridan be turned to anything else but stay as himself, as a white male. And when I say, like, I don't want to get race swapped, I say create your own. I don't want to see race swap characters that are loved and beloved forever, for decades, and are in the hearts and minds of people that love those things, right? So I just say create a new character. And, you know, so this family here are Indians in space, right? And that's it. They could be anybody, but I just thought, oh, you know, it'd be fun to just have Indians in space, because the other story I'm writing, they're not Indians, right? So the other story to this, and it's a great story. Well, I'm what is it called? I'm biased, right? But the artwork itself is amazing. And so I always talk about the artwork, and it delivers what I want the goods to. So the other story on this, which is a 12-page, right? 12-page story, is called Robot Nation, the title, right? So let me get rid of that. Oops, there we go. It's called Robot Nation, which is a title, right? Which is a title, book title story, right? And so the idea here is that there's these two people have been away vacationing on an island, and it has to do with the fact that the female's having issues, right? And so the male, her partner, they've just gone away for a holiday. And they come back and the world has gone to mush. It's a 12-page self-contained story, right? And what I want to say, like, so, you know, it's called Robot Nation, right? So TM. So that there's two stories, 12-page, 16-page self-contained stories. They'll go out as a 32-page or 38-page comic book, right? Issue 1, and then there'll be like a issue 2, hopefully, depending on how well you guys receive it, right? And how well you guys react to the work. And I'm kind of thinking I want to leave it as a black and white comic, right? Kind of like a throwback to my 2000 AD days and Swamp Thing, right? And also Conan, right? Barry Windsor Smith. You don't want to color that work. So my thing is, would you, if you guys would support us putting out a black and white book with beautiful cover art, color, right? With pinups and stuff. He's actually doing a pinup for me right now, based on this character, because I love that artwork for this character so well. Let me get back down there. So is it that one? Yeah, for this character right here. Right. I love this character so much. The design work, because I send him a whole bunch of, like, my artists, because I can't articulate in great detail exactly what I want. I just go, this picture, muck around with it like this, and this is what's happening. And that's how I'll go. Right. I want Boba to look like this. Here's some reference images, and you go for it. And he came back with this, and I was like, whoa, freaking heck. So then I had to go, you know what? I can't just leave it without something amazing. I'd love to see it as a pinup. So I said, hey, you know what? What if we did something cool with this character, right? What if we did something amazing with this character? What if we did it as a pinup? And we did 3 different ways, right? So, and this is for Patreon, right? So there'll be a normal one that we can, put out there for everybody to see. Then there will be some risque and some nude things, and to do with this character and another character that we're going to put there. And so you'll be able to like by joining our Patreon, right? By joining our Patreon, you'll be able to see the progress of us turning this character into a pinup in 3 different ways. I've said I want it like a you know, all ages kind of thing, like public. Then I want a risque one. Then I want a nude one, right? Because hey, you know, it'll be cool to have something different. And because this is a mature reader book, so I can do that, right? It's not an all ages book like Incredible, which I'm nothing like that will be happening with that ever, right? But this is like a mature reader book. And so I love this character so much, and I said, hey man, yeah, jump on and let me know if you want to do that. And he said, yeah, you know, send me a mock-up and we'll go for it. So I'm not sure if this is who I think this is, but I haven't read the script because I have written the script, but what I mean is like when I get the page in, then I go and write this, like do the lettering, because I'm the one who does the lettering. I'm the one who does the book design. And, you know, so they'll be so cool because I think we can use the pinup as the cover, but also as a poster, but also we can do like 3 cards, like trading cards for these characters in different positions. And so other ones as well. So, you know, I just, you know, I hope that you guys, when this book comes out, Robot Nation, you guys will pick it up. You know, you guys will actually give it a try, and we'll back it on Kickstarter. Because like I said, I'm here to make sure that the work that's done by my artists, they are paid for that and that they are supported. And that's why I did the Patreon, so that I can say, hey, look, why don't we do other artwork and all this stuff? I'm the one who'll be putting it up there. I'm the one who'll be managing it. And you get to see how much money's coming in, who's supporting you, and so on. And then we'll work out how it works, right? And we do it per page rate that normally do it, so people get paid for their work. But you know, unless I have backing, right? Unless I have people like you guys out there who are supportive of that, I can't do that. And so I got to wait until the comic book's done before I can pay them, right? Or whatever I can try. Because look, I'm out here making 7 books at a time, and we've only got 1 out. And as you know, Kickstarter holds the you know, the money for ages before they release it all to you. And you guys saw what happened with, you know, and we're only a little studio, right? And there's only about 5 people working on 7 books or something. I've, you know, there's Kevin, there's Francisco, there is Hugo, the colorist, there is James, right? So there's that 4 people. Yeah, it's 4 people and me, so that's 5, right? Working on this, and I'm doing all the writing and design, book design, and all the logos, because I love my logo design. All the character, you know, all that stuff, all the creative sides, all the, you know, idea of house, whatever. So, and then I go, here, guys, take this and turn it into this, you know, and that's what you see in front of you. So, yeah, I'm really excited, and sheesh, we're up to 3 hours. But since we're there, let me open up well, not let me. I'm going to open up from stream. I'm going to open up what I haven't opened up yet. I've never opened this, right? Still the seal, as you can see. So this is, I better put it in there. What board is this? This is a board game. Why is board game 2 words? Board game unboxing. I didn't realize I go 3 hours on my own. Right, so this is Batman, Savior. Yes, usually work. Nope. So you see. Wait. SAVI. SAVIO. It tells me that's the wrong spelling, but it's here. Weird. Maybe it's supposed to be you. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to try this. So, yes. You Americans don't know how to spell. Serious, look. It's supposed to be You over here. Before the R. It's red lining on there. Okay, of Gotham City. And then we'll get onto this. But like seriously, man, like I know you guys do your Zs and all that instead of S's, but it's this. Yeah, you got me there. You really got me. You got me now, Kinks. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I can't get. Oh, yeah. Love that song. Grew up listening to it. That's what probably got me into metal as well. Right. The great unboxing of the board game spelt wrong, Americanized. So this retails at 69 New Zealand. Right. But however, I got it at half price. And that's probably the only reason I buy it. Because really, like I said, I'm not out here rich, right? I'm out here trying to make a living, right? Make a living without actually working physically every day of the week. So I'm out here trying to make a living by doing all these, creating comic books and stuff and trying to put up Patreon and whatever. And so, right, $35 New Zealand, half priced from $68. Was that 69? 60? I'm not going to go there. All right. But it was $69, by the way. So this is it. Right. So get on the shoulder. So it says here, ages 8+, players 2 to 8, time 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Yep. The artwork. Gosh, I wonder who did the artwork because this is beautiful. I wonder if it kind of looks like Jim Lee. Right. Beautiful box. Kind of wish I kept the plastic, but I'm going to put it in a big plastic bag so it stays nice and mint. The first thing you see is the game book. Game rules and scenario. Right. It's very short, which is pretty cool. Of course, you got Bane on the back, the breaker of Batman's back. And of course, there's been some controversy this week about Bane, right? From the director of Blue Beetle, right? And of course, he got all controversial about putting that stupid line in the trailer. I don't know what it is about leftists or those people who like want to ruin everything. That like they just can't leave heroes alone. So anyway, so here we go. But I don't want to get there. So, but I mean, I shouldn't even say leftists, but people who want to do that, right? It's not always leftists. It's people who want to ruin things. Like in the old days, it was like Dungeons and Dragons. So you got that. So the next one is just people. I think when you politicize it just gets stupid. So this is Joker. Is that Arkham? Yep. Power levels. You get all these. It's pretty crazy. These cards are pretty big, right? Like I said, I've never opened it. So you got heroes. So I guess that the other side would be villains. So let's have a look at these amazing little cards and see what they're like. So, right. So you got Joker. Yep. Villains at the back. You got Penguin. You got Poison Ivy. Redhead. Love redheads. Always have. Always will. Gustav Klimt is one of my favorite artists. Probably my favorite artist, to be honest. I've got his painting up somewhere. And a book. So, yeah. So, Poison Ivy. Another villain. You can't have, cannot not have Harlequin. And of course, as you know, Harlequin came about from the, animated series, right? And probably because fans love the character so much, right? And, you just got to give fans what they want, man. Bane, Two-Face, and now we go to the heroes. Another redhead, Batgirl, Catwoman, right? Gorgeous, as always. Nightwing in his tights. And Batman. So, let's see, we got 4 4 heroes. 4 heroes going up against 6 villains. So I would like to know, where's Robin? Where's Batwoman? I mean, that'd be cool, right? Or maybe Talia. Talia could be like the 6th person. So you got all these cute little, well, they are actually. They're quite cute, right? And what's the Japanese name for cute? I've forgotten now. Right, so you got those little token cards, I guess, of each one. I'm not going to pop them out yet. And then you've got the counters. And I didn't realize, but on the back, they've got art as well on each one. So I guess you get the villains and you got the heroes tokens. And so you've got, what is that? The bomb detonator, bomb 1, nuclear fuel, priming key, molecule, poison, machine, all these different things. So you got like, what is that one? Ooh. Mr. Freeze's gun, Joker's laughing gas. Pretty cool, right? And you've also got journalists too. You're also journalists. Hopefully it's not a Kotaku journalist, right? All right, there you go. So cool. What is it? Decontamination of radioactivity. It's over that one there. Then you got poison presence, right? That'll be like Joker. And then you've got Penguin with his ducky, which is, if you notice, is it still there or have I moved it? Oh no, I moved it. He's probably down there with Penguin. I bought a ducky because like a wind-up ducky or something. And I was thinking, man, this would be cool for Joker. And I like my friend Jason goes, dude, it's for Penguin has a duck. So I'm like, damn it, freaking head injuries again. All right, so there's those ones, but then there's also these ones, these black hearts. Don't know what they're supposed to be for, but and you got all these little things there: villain, ambush, explosive, heroes, and then of course on the back you've got the artwork on there. But on these tokens, that you still have the black and white. I mean, black and white hearts. Now let's put that over there. Please don't fall off. Before I get to the board game, let's see what else is in here. Oh, you got this, and I wonder if that's for, like, I guess for the counters. Now, unlike the Marvel Monopoly, which had these tokens, character tokens, whoops, sorry, like that, made out of metal. It's cold as, well, not cold, it's what, cold to the touch, but that's how I knew it was metal, not plastic, right? They have plastic stands for the cardboard, for the characters, right? Which isn't too bad, but I mean, wouldn't it have been cool if it was actual figures, right? People, as a toy collector and board gamer, it'd be cool to actually have friggin' figures, little tiny figures, like we did, right? Not only is it not metal, right? It's not actually figures either, right? And a board game about actual figures, right? Like actual characters and stuff from a toy company. I mean, comic company, right? So these are comic characters. So wouldn't it have been cool to just put out little figures like that, right? As tokens? It's too easy, man. You already have Batman and all these characters already out there in the world, in your own, is it Hasbro? Mattel, right? Mattel does, I think Mattel is a licensed Marvel Legends thing. I think. Or was it Hasbro? I can't remember. Hold on. Which one is it? Which one are you, buddy? Tell me. Ah, come here. Ah, I can't even see. That sucks. This one. Made in China. I'm just trying to see over here who actually does it. So you guys probably already know, but made in China, Marvel, made in China, what? Hasbro, right? So this one actually has Hasbro. So if you already have companies out there that are creating your toys, why can't you make a little figure, right, as a token, rather than a card like that? Maybe it was cost, but guess what? If you said on the back of the board that you will get metal figures, people would still buy it and be willing to pay a bit more. This is what I mean by sometimes these companies who create stuff don't think about the fans enough, or they hold back, right? Or they just go far enough and then they come back. So between those two, you could have had them between the Monopoly and Marvel Monopoly and Risk Avengers, Marvel Cinematic Universe. You could have had a metal, put those two together, and you could have a metal token, right? It's on the other side. So Monopoly sometimes does those special limited series as well. Like they actually have like metal tokens, right? Lead, whatever they are. I don't think they do lead anymore, but pewter, right? So instead, I got a, plastic, right? Plastic stand, right? With my Betty on there. Where did I just put that? So I just took that out and flip it back in. Weird. Right? And I got to now that. Right? Now that is my token now. A piece of cardboard on a piece of plastic. Where they could have just made a metal figure on a stand like that. Right? And it would have been beautiful. Been amazing. Be loved. But I would have. Anyway, so the other one is you got the bonus cards. The characters is the Brute. I am Brute. And then you've got like the bonus, whatever it is. And then you've got the other one, which I guess these are the bad and the good. So I guess this is the villain side. Too much light. Villain side, and this is the hero side, right? Cops. Good cops are heroes, right? Bad cops are villains. That's a given. Okay, so you get 6 dice. 6 white dice. You get a little pouch to put them all in. I guess all these as well. So when you get all your little bits and pieces out, you can put them all in there. So they're kept safe, which is a good idea, by the way. That's at least that's a plus in my book, right? And now that's all there. So those are cards. Yep. Let's put this back and let's talk about the board. So the board itself, right? How does it look? Mr. Magoo, let's have a look. There's, of course, the map of Gotham. Look at that. Oh. This is how detailed I love to have my map of Zealandia done. Okay. Let me see, just goes through this. Reminds me of being a child, looking for here to making sure that, I remember watching Idle Hands as a kid. And if you haven't seen Idle Hands, and if you're into comics, that's what you got to watch that. It's a horror movie, but it's about an illustrator who loses his hand in an accident, and it's a horror movie. So I'm looking through here like I used to do as a kid, watching horror movies and romantic scenes on thing to see how, if I'm getting it right. So there you go. And there's a bit of glare. Let me see if I can get rid of the glare. Getting rid of it. I can't see it. That's too white. Yeah. No, I can't get rid of the glare. Sorry, guys. But there you go. The map of Gotham. And I haven't always been a fan of, like, if you guys, just want to let you know, I did grow up watching no, Batman, same bedtime, same bed channel, right? The glam rock version of Batman TV shows. So that was, my dear friends, the unboxing and the wrong spelling of Savior of Gotham City, Batman. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. That unboxing. I got to find someone to play with. I haven't been out of the house for a couple of weeks. Well, I get out of the house once a week to go shopping and stuff with my friend Jason. But apart from that, I don't really get out much. Okay, so now, right, so as I mentioned, I didn't grow up watching Batman. I like being in love with Batman. I did enjoy all the shows, but as a you know, as a young kid, he wasn't my hero. Knight Rider was my hero, right? Auto Man was my hero, right? But really, Knight Rider was my hero. Michael, right? And I even had a black jacket. Remember, right? Was it red? Mum bought it for me specially because she knew how much I loved it. So you can see, even as a kid, I had support for my fandom from a young age, and but it didn't. I'd watched all the movies and stuff, but like I didn't actually get into Batman until I read the Cataclysm, the fall, or like the Fall of Batman, the Earthquake in Gotham, hardcover book, and also and that made me think, this is a really cool character. I might start buying the comic books, and that was 2003. Right. So I've been a fan of Batman, as a legit fan of Batman for 20 years now. Right. And so with that comes all this craziness, right? A whole friggin' wall and all this over here of Batman. And it's like goes all the way to 4. So see that cube there? There's 4 of them. And I've got to clear the bottom one. It's full of comics. But I haven't really had time. I'm working through selling some stuff at the moment. But also you've got all this here, right? All of Batman. I've got way too much Batman. As I mentioned, I also got this week. Whoops. Right. Three friggin' like just arrived yesterday. Right. Not that one. So this was done unboxing, I guess, of the toys today. Was these 3 Batmobiles, 2, and then this big one here. Right. So now I have 3 more Batmobiles to add, and I get to put a figure in here. Wouldn't it be cool? I wonder if it's a Kenner figure that'll go in there, right? And along with all my other Batmobiles and all that, and then the Hot Wheel ones or Mattel ones, whatever they want to do it, and and the ones I actually own. There's about 2 over there. There's about 2 over there, and there's about a whole bunch of little ones. There's actually a Lego little, set up over there and all that. And there's a whole bunch of ones over there, and it's just everywhere. But so, like I said, it wasn't until the book, the hardcover book, about the Fall of Gotham and the Earthquake and the Cataclysm, I think it was Nightfall or something, I'm not sure, that really, really made me think this is a character I can really get behind. And so for 20 years, I've been reading it and buying the books, buying the graphic novels, buying the toys, telling people about it, sharing my love for it, buying the DVDs, right? Buying the movies, watching the movies at the movies, collecting the special discs, the masks and all that. But so when somebody starts going, Batman's a fascist, I go, yeah, well, I don't want to be interested. I'm not interested in whatever else you got to say, unless you can follow it up with, well, that's a bad guy that says it. But even then, I'm going to say, well, why did you put it in the trailer? Anyway, that's all for me today. I did not expect to go this long. Usually I have my friends join me, and today they weren't available for whatever reason. And I'm kind of like grateful that they joined me. I like bouncing ideas off them. I like sharing what they have to share. I've invited other people to come, other toy collectors, other podcasters, right? Or YouTubers who do toys and stuff, just to come on and hang out and show off their pieces and, talk about their passion and why they started, how they started, why they carry on, and, who got them what. It'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. So please, 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 if you have a toy channel, if you're a collector, don't care what world you're from. This is a time, 3 hours earlier from now is when I start broadcasting. So whatever time that is in your country, send us an email, right? Let me just grab our email so that you know where we're at. Let me grab that. Ha! That was, actually, that'd be pretty cool to show. So give me 1 second. Let me just pop. Right. So this is our email, right? If you want to be on our, if you want to come and hang out, talk about your comics, talk about your channel, right? I'm open to all that, right? Promote yourself. I'm here, right? People have opened doors for me. I'm going to open doors for you. Or even, even if you're a bigger channel, doesn't really matter, man. I just want to talk and discuss what your passions are, where your journey is. Like I said, this week, in 2 days, right? I have Paulie, right, coming on. Paulie, the Latino slant. I'm going to talk about Latino culture, his channel, what he's got going on. Let me see, where is it? There we go. So this is his site. Check him out, beforehand to see what he's about. And then, and then when we see him on Saturday US time, Sunday New Zealand time, you guys can ask some questions, right? So you know what he's about. You can ask him, hey, what and I can put it to him. But I'm just gonna, talk about culture, talk about pop culture, talk about life in America for him, and him, or his family, his background stuff, and we'll talk about two migrants, basically, right? Talking to each other about things that we love. So there's that, and then also the cool thing is the week following, on the same day, Saturday for US, Sunday for New Zealand, we will have Robert Meyer Burnett. So jump on our live, on our page on YouTube, on the live, under the live thing, window, whatever button, and you'll see all these turn up, and just hit the notify button, right? And you'll be able to, you'll be able to be notified about when we go on about that. So I want to leave that with you guys for today. We're almost up to 3.5 hours. Wow. But please, if I don't care what your beliefs or religions or politics are. If you love pop culture, I want you on. I want to talk pop culture. If you're creating comics, I want to talk to you. If you have a YouTube channel about pop culture, I want to talk to you. If you're in making films out there, indie films, whatever, I want to talk to you, because that's all my background. If you're a chef, heck, I'd love to talk to you about cooking, because that's what I've got a background in that as well. And I just love a lot of things, but I really, really love pop culture and comics, right? So I'm out here. Come and join me. Come and join Tony. We'll have some fun. Maybe we'll join Sheridan, Orlando, and maybe even, Snow White. And Homer, of course, will give you a big hug. So with that in mind, and with that in conclusion, whatever, kakite ano. Thank you, my friends, for joining me today. I didn't expect for such a long one. Usually we're out of here within like 3 hours or 2 hours. But we talked about a lot of things today. Whatever you love, put your heart and soul into it. And if if people try to dissuade you from what you love and what you feel about what you love, just say, yeah, it's fine, but you carry on. Because, that's part of you, man, and nobody can take it away unless you let them take it away. So doesn't matter what it is. As long as it's good and healthy for you, do that. If it's unhealthy and not good for you, don't do that. But who am I to tell you what to do? Be yourself. And wherever you are, be well, be safe, take care of yourself. And Tamawi, we feel for you, and hopefully, yeah, hopefully things will go well in time, and you'll get all the resources you need, and your loved ones, hold them tighter wherever you are, because you don't know when things will happen. But wherever you are, guys, be well, be safe, and take care of yourselves. Until next time, in 2 days, Paulie, the Latino slant, will be here.